The story begins in a beautiful mountainous area, with rustling tree canopies and soaring streams. A young man is leisurely lying on the vibrant green grass. He is sipping wine while exclaiming, "The mortal world isn't about cultivation, nor is it about palace intrigue, and it has stable jobs. Life after the crossover is just too stable." A little girl in a vibrant green outfit, small in stature, flutters around him and says, "Host, I am Spirit, your system. Please bind me immediately to unlock your system's tasks." He turns his head to one side, closes his eyes, and indifferently replies, "I don't want to, just go away." The spirit system confusingly says, "Why refuse? I can help you dominate in the cultivating immortals world." He, with his eyes half closed, looks at the spirit system and says, "If I had known the nature of your systems, which seem grand but are ultimately competitive, exhausting, and filled with various KPIs that are irritating, I wouldn't have accepted it. In my previous life, I worked 24 hours, from dawn till late at night, to the point of dying suddenly. Now that I've crossed over, I refuse to work for any system." The spirit system still earnestly pleads, "Please give me a chance. We will try to become better." He still stubbornly refused. "Working as a laborer means I will not have the ability to work. I won't work in this life anymore." Hearing every refusal made the spirit system contemplate, "The host rejects me. Could it be because I haven't tried hard enough? No, I must become stronger." After that, it was determined to make its host submit. While Wang Yang was in the restroom, she entered and said, "The strongest self-destructive path for the system has been updated. The beginner task only requires banging your head against the wall. Host, quickly bind me." He waved his hand and said, "I don't want to, I'm afraid of pain. Go find someone else." Having said that, he thought, "Even when I go to the restroom, this system doesn't give me a moment of peace, it's really annoying." When he was eating, she drifted over and said, "The idle mode sign-in has been updated. Just signing in at the big sect of the Spirit Sword sect will earn luxurious rewards. Host, quickly bind with me." After listening to her, he still maintained that attitude, "I don't want to. Is it any different from going to fight?" The spirit system sighed and said, "Why do we still get rejected in the end? Surely, our efforts are not enough." Seeing her host lying leisurely, she flew over to call, "Host." Just as she was about to say more, he stopped her with his hand and said, "Stop, I don't want to hear it." The spirit system still had enough energy and excitedly told him, "Host, the system has been upgraded to the immortal lying still champion throughout the ages. As long as you bind with me, you can receive a generous reward." He, feeling bored, replied, "I don't want to." But suddenly he became interested in the system's closing statement and sat up to ask, "Wait, what do you mean by lying still?" The spirit system repeated, "The immortal lying still champion throughout the ages. Host, after you bind with the immortal lying still champion throughout the ages, even if you just lie still, you can become the champion of the cultivating immortals world." Still finding it hard to believe, he asked, "Lying still and still being a champion? That sounds a bit boastful. Are you trying to trick me into becoming a fat pig to be slaughtered?" The spirit system, fearing he wouldn't believe her, raised her hand and swore, "I swear, if I lie to you, he would be bugged to death." Seeing her sincerity, he felt somewhat convinced and thought that this system seemed to be very genuine. If not, he might as well give it a try. After that, he also responded to her and said, "I will trust you this once." The spirit system immediately activated upon receiving his agreement. "Congratulations, host, you have successfully bound the system and will immediately receive the reward of binding the Great Emperor's temperament, primary mortal Great Emperor." He did not expect to directly ascend from mortal to a great realm and exclaimed in surprise, "What? I actually jumped straight from mortal to the great realm." The spirit system then announced, checking the host's breathing, "You will immediately receive a realm breakthrough reward and a Hong Meng Dao fruit, advancing from primary Great Emperor to secondary Great Emperor." He looked at his two hands full of energy and couldn't help but exclaim, "Oh my, just breathing can lead to a realm breakthrough. Indeed, lying still is invincible." Under the immense energy, his strength shot straight up into the sky. On the side of another sect, people were also shaken and confused by the disturbance. Bai Fong looked at the stream of spiritual energy, trembling in fear and said, "What is this disturbance? Could it be that our spirit sword sect is facing a great disaster? The master, standing aside, seemed calmer and ordered his disciples, immediately strike the soul-reviving bell 9 times to summon all the elders to the main hall for a meeting. Everyone looked up at the source of that power and discussed, this power, could it be that a great emperor has emerged? This strength is truly astonishing. The last time there was such a commotion was 500 years ago. Quickly investigate, which sect does this new great emperor belong to? On the side of the great Shing Empire, in the Xianji pavilion, some disciples spoke loudly, I have glimpsed the heavenly secret, hurry and report to the empresses, the great emperor named Wang Yang is in the spirit sword sect. Wang Yang here sat with his chin resting on his hand as the stream of spiritual energy gradually dissipated. He sighed in frustration and said, if only my previous life had gone as smoothly as this. I have lived for 26 years and have never held a girl's hand. The spirit system announced. The system has detected that the host wants to search for a Tao partner and has immediately displayed potential conquest targets. Wang Yang asked back, what? This idle system can actually help me with this? The spirit system responded, host, the system has filtered out the most suitable conquest target for you. Please make your selection. Wang Yang stroked his chin, looking at the system interface, still feeling lazy as he said, firstly, let's not talk about choosing a person, having to conquer it myself is really too troublesome. The spirit system reminded, host, don't forget to claim the reward for your Tao partner conquest mission. Wang Yang asked in confusion, wait, I haven't even started the conquest yet, and there's already a reward. Suddenly, an announcement left him stunned. The Empress of the Great Shing Empire, Yi Lin Lang, requests to meet. Wang Yang blushed, gave the system a thumbs up, and said, this system is amazing, my wife comes straight to my door. The spirit system chuckled and said, do I even need to say that? I am the idle, unbeatable system, a timeless autocrat. A voice murmured, the empresses of the Great Shing Empire have destroyed 6 nations and personally come here. What is going on? Inside the great hall, the elders and influential figures gathered. Lu Qinyao asked Chang Feng, is this Wang Yang really at the spirit sword sect? Why have I never heard of him? Curious, he replied, I have never heard of anyone named Wang Yang either. What is going on? The master also spoke up, by Feng Elder, since the establishment of the sect, has anyone ever been called Wang Yang Senior? By Feng Elder stroked his beard and said, I have not heard of that at all. I checked the sect's list, and there is absolutely no one named Wang Yang. Another elder sitting nearby added, Wang Yang seems to be the name of an unnamed disciple at the sword cleansing pool. Chang Feng suddenly interjected, wait a moment, I remember now, your sect founder once worshipped a master with the surname Wang. Upon hearing this, Bai Feng Elder also recalled and exclaimed, that's right. Wang Yang is the true ancestor, he has always kept a low profile to protect the spirit sword sect until now. Master slammed his hand down and stood up, directly leading the way outside and commanding, Chang Feng, you go greet the empresses, the rest follow me to the sword cleansing pool, kneel to welcome the master. He took the lead in walking forward, kneeling before Wang Yang, and called out loudly, I pay my respects to the master. Wang Yang, astonished, turned back to ask the system, is this also a reward from the system? The spirit system shook its head and replied, this is a spontaneous act, not related to our system. Hearing this, he thought, if that's the case, then let it be natural. Then he spoke up, get up, there's no need to be so formal. The master said, Master, the empresses of the Great Shing Empire wish to meet you, may I ask what the matter is? Wang Yang replied, perhaps she has come to propose a marriage. Lu Qinyao behind him, hearing this, exclaimed in surprise, propose a marriage? This? How is that possible? This news is too shocking, did we hear wrong? Elder Bai Feng behind him also said, the empresses coming to propose a marriage is unprecedented. Wang Yang clasped his hands behind him and calmly said, if the empresses have arrived, then I should personally go greet them. Outside the palace, Chang Feng was waiting to receive the empresses inside. She sat majestically on her throne, her expression not very cheerful, asking, does Wang Yang Great Emperor not want to meet me? Chang Feng cupped his fists and hesitantly replied, Master is cultivating behind the mountain, I ask for the Empress's patience for a moment. At that moment, footsteps could be heard approaching. Wang Yang entered first with a courteous demeanor. Yi Lin Lang glanced out, her expression scrutinizing, thinking, his attitude and attire are nothing like the great emperor of legend. Could the national master have miscalculated the heavenly secret? Wang Yang felt something was off and thought, oh no, it's my first meeting with a beauty and I've forgotten to change clothes. He secretly called out to the system for help, quickly give me an impressive outfit, I need to enhance my image a bit. After his request, the system swiftly changed his outfit and announced, mission to meet has been completed, instantly upgrading to the Emperor's Dragon Robe, successfully equipped with the Emperor's Dragon Robe, activating the set effect successfully. When Lu Qinyao saw Wang Yang's new appearance, she couldn't help but marvel. Here, this is indeed the stance of a great emperor, truly impressive. Elder Bai Fong then cried his heart out, saying, I never expected our spirit sword sect to have a strong great emperor. At this moment, the empresses looked at Wang Yang with new eyes, thinking, this Wang Yang is indeed a great emperor, with a realm much higher than mine. She took a step forward, approached Wang Yang, then bowed before him, saying, Great Emperor Wang Yang, I am Yi Lin Lang, and I implore you to lend your aid to our great Shing Empire. Wang Yang was taken aback, thinking, is this really the Empress who has destroyed those 6 nations? He quickly bent down to assist her, saying, please, rise. I understand your difficult situation, but I have withdrawn from the mundane world for many years and do not wish to get involved. Yi Lin Lang looked up at him, pleading, as long as great Emperor Wang Yang can save the great Shing Empire, I am willing to meet any conditions you set. Master, who stood behind, was astonished upon hearing her words, thinking, no matter what the conditions are, this woman is making too great a sacrifice. Wang Yang hesitated, saying, this matter. Yi Lin Lang saw Wang Yang's unwilling attitude and said, if it weren't for Wang Yang the great emperor's disdain, I would willingly repay with my body. Elder Bai Fong was startled and asked, what? Repay with your body? This matter. The white-haired man was also taken aback. So the empresses repay with their bodies, this is definitely shocking news in the cultivating immortals world. Wang Yang was struggling with his thoughts, thinking, although I have a strong desire for the empress's body, if I agree, wouldn't that bring a pile of troubles to my door? The spirit system displayed a notification and said to him, Host Lord, the Empress's Yi Lin Lang actually possesses a rare phoenix holy body. Upon hearing this, he asked, System, is there something mysterious about this aspect? The spirit system explained to him, if a cultivator dual cultivates with someone who has a phoenix holy body, they can directly break through a major realm. Wang Yang understood and said, so that's how it is. Wang Yang was still struggling with his thoughts while silently observing her. Yi Lin Lang thought, if one does not dare to sacrifice, they cannot achieve great goals. She raised 3 fingers, directly choosing to swear to the heavenly Tao. Right here, I swear before the heavenly Tao that if I violate this oath, I will be punished by heaven and earth, and my soul will scatter. She thought further, moreover, Wang Yang is considered handsome and polite, so I must sacrifice a little. Wang Yang sighed and agreed. Since it's like this, please lead the way, the empresses. Inside, he secretly felt pleased with the thought. Finding of the empresses as a wife, such a good fortune is hard to come by. Yi Lin Lang, hearing this, expressed her gratitude, kneeling and saying, I, on behalf of the millions of people in the great Shing Empire, thank great Emperor Wang Yang. The white-haired man stepped forward and said, Master, the Spirit Sword Sect cannot be without you. If enemies take advantage of this situation to invade, it would truly be a calamity. The system appeared and said, measurement check shows that the master has a request for the host. The master clasped his hands and said, please reconsider. The system then responded, congratulations, host has received the Imperial Grade 9 Heaven Spirit Sword Array. Wang Yang raised his hand to create a protective shield, lightly smiling and thinking, this system is truly too flattering. Another Imperial Grade Sect formation was gifted as well. Master looked at the light in Wang Yang's hand with confusion and asked, Master, what is this? Wang Yang replied, this is the 9 Heaven Spirit Sword Array. Once activated, it will protect the sect, so there's no need to worry. After saying that, he threw it up high and shouted, activate the formation. The sword array soared up, releasing countless strands of sword chi that intertwined to create a massive barrier surrounding the entire sect. The elders and masters inside rushed out and exclaimed, this this is the Imperial Grade Sect formation, our Spirit Sword Sect has been revived. The Master's abilities are truly unimaginable. Yi Lin Lang also looked up, his expression dark as he thought, this Nine Heavens Spirit Sword Array is even more formidable than my National Defense formation. The foundation within the Spirit Sword Sect is indeed astonishing. Suddenly, Lu Qinyao approached, knelt down, and pleaded with him, Master, please allow Qinyao to serve by your side. Wang Yang glanced at Yi Lin Lang with an unsightly expression, thinking, why is there another person added to this love rivalry? Isn't it just increasing the difficulty of the game? The spirit system appeared and said, congratulations host lord, Lu Qinyao is once again the rare spirit rhinoceros holy body in the last few centuries. Wang Yang was puzzled and looked at it, asking, what is so mysterious about this spirit rhinoceros holy body? The spirit system replied, the owner of this holy body is loyal, reliable, meticulous and understands the host's thoughts. Wang Yang stroked his chin as he listened to the system and commented, isn't this the holy body of a female servant? The spirit system responded, truly worthy of being the host, your assessment is very accurate. After finishing the conversation with the system, Wang Yang turned to Qinyao and said, from now on, you will follow me. Lu Qinyao happily replied, thank you, master. Wang Yang chuckled inwardly, thinking, having a female servant by my side isn't too bad. The master behind also thought, the master still remembers old feelings, being able to follow the master, Qinyao's future is incalculable. Yi Lin Lang, with a serious expression, asked, where is the phoenix? A large phoenix flew toward the call of Yi Lin Lang. The disciple below was surprised and said, this is the legendary Rainbow Phoenix Chariot, a mount that can be compared to imperial-grade treasures. Wang Yang stroked his chin and looked at it, thinking, the BMW of the cultivating immortals world is indeed beautiful. To be honest, I never bought a car in my past life. The spirit system announced, measurement check has detected that the host lord wishes for a mount. Congratulations, host lord, you have received the Imperial Grade 6 Dragon Imperial Chariot. Upon hearing the system notification, Wang Yang said, if the situation is urgent, why not use my mount? Lu Qinyao immediately replied, you are absolutely right. However, she thought to herself, the Rainbow Phoenix Chariot is already a rare item in the world, I wonder what kind of treasure the master's mount will be. Wang Yang raised his hand and called for the 6th Dragon Imperial Chariot to appear. A large horn materialized, and a magnificent chariot appeared, that was the 6th Dragon Imperial Chariot. 2 guards stepped down, clasped their fists, and bowed, saying, we greet the master. The master and the elders were shocked to see this mount and exclaimed, this is the legendary Imperial Grade mount. Wang Yang did not seem surprised and raised his hand, saying, the Empresses, please. Yi Lin Lang softly acknowledged and responded, thank you. Wang Yang raised his hand to give the command, set the price to the Great Shing Empire. Understood, master. Outside the Great Shing Empire's National Defense Array, a large barrier was maintained by the disciples and the National Master using their spiritual energy. One trembling disciple said, National Master, I can't hold on much longer. The one referred to as the National Master remained steadfast in his stance, instructing, everyone, steady your minds. Even if it exhausts our cultivation, we must hold on until His Majesty returns. Outside the city, chaos had reached a level where everyone was fleeing in panic. Those with young children or elderly parents who could not escape cried out helplessly, run quickly. The Xianyu Empire will come to kill us at any moment. Your Majesty, hurry, please save us. Outside the protective array, 2 figures were fiercely attacking the formation. Xianyu's 4 generals, Jiang Yunqi, struck a blow and then stopped to crack his knuckles, saying, this formation looks unimpressive, but no matter how hard we try, we can't break it. It's really frustrating. Xianyu's 4 generals, Song Tai-yi, darkly said. Did not think that the Empress's tactics would be so astute. Jiang Yunqi asked in confusion, why do you say that? Song Tai-yi replied, she has narrowed the protective range to just the area around the capital, which is equivalent to strengthening the national defense formation. You continue to attack the formation, and leave the rest to me. Saying this, he took out a large lance and stood behind the protective shield for Jiang Yunqi. He also sneered and said, "All right." The state master below was gradually depleting his energy, thinking, "Your Majesty, I'm sorry. I can only protect up to here." Song Tai-yi brandished his spear, conjuring a black dragon, and shouted, "Dragon, reveal yourself." The dragon obeyed the command and swooped down ferociously. Suddenly, a strike came from above, directly slicing the dragon in half. This maneuver surprised Jiang Yunqi, wondering, whose sword chi is this? Wang Yang had now arrived, and that strike was delivered by him. Wang Yang stood there majestically, glaring at them. Song Tai-yi watched with widened eyes and said nothing, while Jiang Yunqi, furious, pointed and shouted, "Who on earth wants to interfere in others' affairs?" Song Tai-yi considered the situation and thought, Lu Long Lasya. This person has a significant background. Then he carefully spoke up and asked, "May I ask who you are?" Yi Lin Lang introduced, Song Tai-yi, "This is Wang Yang, Great Emperor from Spirit Sword Sect." Jiang Yunqi arrogantly crossed his arms and said, "Spirit Sword Sect? Which ninth-rate sect is that from? I've never heard of it." Lu Qinyao angrily flew forward and shouted, "You are not allowed to speak ill of Spirit Sword Sect like that." Jiang Yunqi darkened his face and dangerously said, "An ugly little guy from the integration stage has no right to speak before the Great Emperor realm." The spirit system appeared again and said, "Due to the sect being attacked, the host lord is granted a divine martial art, heaven and earth heavenly stem technique." Upon hearing this, Wang Yang remained expressionless as he looked ahead, then he smiled lightly and said to the surprise of Yi Lin Lang and Lu Qinyao, "Today, could both of you show me some respect just this once?" Jiang Yunqi angrily shouted, "What right do you have to mention showing respect to our Xianyu Empire?" Song Tai-yi stopped him, saying, "Jiang brother, please calm down." Then, he cupped his fists and stepped forward, saying, "This Taoist friend, we are on a mission to escort the Empress's Yi Lin Lang back, so please do not interfere in this matter." Wang Yang ignited a faint aura, smiled lightly, and asked, "What if I refuse?" The spirit system again displayed a message. Due to host lord generating a killing intent, the heaven and earth heavenly stem technique will immediately advance to the great completion realm. Song Tai-yi could offer no further advice and said, "Then do not blame us for acting without mercy." Wang Yang's expression turned cold as he called out, "Damn system, what effect does the heaven and earth heavenly stem technique have?" The spirit system explained to him, "The heaven and earth heavenly stem technique can absorb attacks from opponents of the same realm and then reflect them back double." Upon hearing this, Wang Yang smiled lightly and proclaimed, "You are not worthy for me to intervene. I stand here for you to strike 3 times, and if I get hurt, the empresses will leave you to deal with the consequences." Hearing him, Yi Lin Lang looked somewhat worried and softly said, "Wang Yang, Great Emperor, you are." Lu Qinyao also voiced her concern, "Master, please do not take such risks. The strength of these 2 people is very strong." Wang Yang calmly said, "Don't worry, they can't do anything to me." Jiang Yunqi clenched his fist, sneered, and said with anger, "If you can withstand 3 of my punches, we will turn around and leave." Wang Yang extended his hand in invitation. He immediately struck out with a move, but saw Wang Yang standing there unfazed. Jiang Yunqi thought for a moment, 9 parts of my power feel like throwing a stone into the sea. This person is a bit unexpected. However, he refused to back down, gathered himself, and continued to launch the move, 3rd style of the spirit shocking fist, dragon fist breaking the void. This move landed like a mosquito biting a water buffalo in front of Wang Yang. He just stood there watching him, then scoffed, "You are a great emperor but your strength is just boasting, isn't it?" Jiang Yunqi tried to gather himself, intending to build up energy for a move, when he saw Song Tai-yi and panicked, loudly saying, "Jiang brother, you absolutely must not use that move." At this moment, he grew larger and waved both hands, saying, "Original martial arts realm, godly devil emperor coming." Wang Yang frowned and brought his hands together to chant, "Heaven and earth heavenly stem technique, universe dharma body." He used all his strength to strike both hands hard against the floating Wang Yang, but Wang Yang still stood firm inside the barrier, causing the 2 girls below to exclaim, "Master is so strong, he can withstand the full force attack of the Dharma manifestation Great Emperor realm without a scratch." Could it be that his power has surpassed even the great emperor realm? Wang Yang waved his hand and said, "Heaven and earth heavenly stem technique." Instantly, the heavenly branch reversal swallowed him. Jiang Yunqi fell backward and immediately spat blood, collapsing. Song Tai-yi quickly flew over to catch him. Jiang Yunqi, still unwilling, said, "How infuriating, he must be using some tricks. I'm not satisfied, I want to fight 3 more times." Song Tai-yi quickly called out, "Jiang brother, don't be hasty, your power has been harmed." Wang Yang flew over and looked at Song Tai-yi, asking, "If he can't do it, do you want to try?" Song Tai-yi immediately supported Jiang Yunqi and replied, "Thank you for holding back just now, Taoist friend. We will keep our promise and leave." Watching the two leave, Wang Yang said, "Then go, take your time. No need to see you off." Lu Qinyao and Yilin Lang went to ask, "Master, are you injured?" He turned his head and replied, "Don't worry, I'm fine." Yilin Lang said with admiring eyes, "The skill just now was truly amazing." Wang Yang humbly responded, "That was embarrassing." Yilin Lang said, "Today, Great Shing is grateful for the assistance of Wang Yang, the great emperor. Soon there will be a banquet, and I hope both of you will honor us with your presence." Wang Yang replied gently, "If the Empress has arranged it, I will not be polite." Some people came over and called out, "Your Majesty." Seeing him approach, Yilin Lang also introduced Wang Yang to him. "This is Wang Yang, the great emperor from the Spirit Sword Sect, and he is about to become the sovereign of our great Shing Empire." The elder stammered upon hearing this, What? He is the sovereign." He and the others behind him knelt down and shouted, "Long live the sovereign, long live, long live." Wang Yang was momentarily stunned, wondering, "Wait a minute, what exactly is the position of sovereign?" The spirit system appeared, announcing, "Congratulations host lord for accepting the tribute of the people of Great Shing Empire, and receiving merit value." Wang Yang listened with a fierce expression, shaking the system and gritting his teeth as he asked, "What on earth is this merit value? Did you secretly add something to the task system that I don't know about? Speak honestly right now, or I will sever the connection immediately." The spirit system, shaken around, quickly replied, "No, absolutely not." Wang Yang growled, his face filled with evil energy, and cursed at the spirit system. "You useless system, what is this merit value? There is no such thing in the common cultivation world." The system, struggling in Wang Yang's hands, said, "Host Lord, please calm down, I will explain it thoroughly." Upon hearing this, Wang Yang loosened his grip and released it. The spirit system coughed and quickly explained, "Merit value is generated when one is admired and revered by others. Doing good deeds to accumulate virtue, saving the injured, and serving the country and people can all earn it." Wang Yang, hearing its explanation, questioned the meaning of life. Being a good person can make you stronger. Then what's the point of hard cultivation? The spirit system continued to explain, "Gathering thousands and millions of wishes is not an easy task. However, the lords and revered generals are the easiest to obtain. Once one uses merit to condense the merit dharma body, at the beginning, it can be as formidable as the realm of divinity." Wang Yang stroked his chin and looked over at Yilin Lang, realizing, so that's how it is. So the empresses are following the path of cultivating the merit dharma body? The spirit system said, "No," then corrected itself, "the empresses are an extremely rare type of dual cultivators." Yilin Lang looked at Wang Yang with a questioning expression. "Wang Yang great emperor, what's wrong? Don't you like the royal capital?" Wang Yang covered the system's mouth with his hand, chuckling awkwardly, "No, it's just that I was reminiscing about some old stories." He further thought, "The value of the Empress Yilin Lang continues to rise." Wang Yang followed Yilin Lang inside, and the voices of everyone paying their respects echoed, "Long live, long live." One person kneeling there intentionally lifted their eyes to look at Wang Yang and then said to the person next to them, "Is that the expert from beyond who saved the imperial capital? Truly, from demeanor to essence, they are noble." Lu Qinyao followed behind Wang Yang, feeling a bit pleased upon hearing this discussion, secretly thinking, "The master of the sect is so impressive, I must be by his side, even if it's just as a maid." The ministers standing in front bowed and paid their respects as Yilin Lang entered. "The Empress has returned victorious." Yilin Lang raised her hand towards Wang Yang behind her and spoke to that official. This is all the merit of the Wang Great Emperor. Someone, immediately prepare a first-class national banquet to entertain the distinguished guests. She glanced at the old man kneeling on the ground, frowned slightly, and asked, why hasn't the national master come to greet me? The old man, hearing the question, found it somewhat difficult to answer and stammered, the national master can't come, because he has exhausted his cultivation due to the national protection formation. Right now, I fear. She angrily waved her hand and spoke loudly, why didn't you tell me earlier? Where is the national master now? The old man lowered his head and replied, the national master has been taken to the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion. Wang Yang stepped forward and said, Your Majesty, shall we visit the national master first? Yilin Lang hesitated and replied, I apologize, I was very rude earlier, and I hope you will not make fun of me. Inside the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion, the national master had just been brought back. 3 of her disciples knelt on the ground, crying out, Master, you cannot have anything happen to you. Master, you cannot abandon us. Yilin Lang and Wang Yang entered, and she quickly cast her gaze at the bed inside the room, saying, Master, your disciple has arrived late. The national teacher smiled gently and said to Yilin Lang, I have told you many times, in public you should call me national teacher. Wang Yang stood to the side, looking at the national teacher lying on the bed and couldn't help but click his tongue, thinking to himself, it's such a pity that such a beautiful woman is about to pass away. The national teacher looked over at Wang Yang and said, Thank you, senior, for coming to the aid of Lin Lang and the entire great Shing Empire. Wang Yang politely waved his hand in response. It's just a small matter for me. Yilin Lang quickly waved her hand, instructing her disciples, hurry and invite the divine doctor to treat the national teacher. The national teacher made an effort to sit up, saying, No need, my condition can only be cured by the 9 transformation magical powers pill from the celestial realm. Don't waste your efforts. The spirit system appeared, handing Wang Yang the 9 transformation pill and then saying, upon discovering that someone needed treatment, Host Lord received a holy item, a 9 transformation magical powers pill. Wang Yang displayed a bored expression, thinking, Dog system, you really know how to bring karma upon me. He looked towards Yilin Lang, hesitating as he thought, should I keep this 9 transformation magical powers pill, or save a life now? After thinking for a moment, he made a decision and spoke up, the Empresses, don't be sad, I happen to have a 9 transformation magical powers pill. Wang Yang thought again, I should save the person first, it would be a pity if a beauty like this was gone. Yilin Lang was taken aback, glanced over, and replied, this is too precious. Then thank you Wang Yang, great emperor. The disciples behind her were also moved and grateful to him, saying, thank you, immortal. The master is saved. The master is saved. Yilin Lang wasted no time and quickly brought the pill to the mouth of the national teacher. As soon as she swallowed it, she felt a powerful change in her body and exclaimed, Wang Yang stared at the national teacher's reaction, also surprised, thinking, does this 9 transformation magical powers pill have any special effects? No wonder only the immortal realm has this. Yilin Lang eagerly asked, Master, did you just break through to the realm? The national teacher got off the bed, clasped his hands, and quickly bowed to Wang Yang, thank you, senior, for providing the medicine. Not only have I completely healed my injuries, but I have also broken through to the immortal king realm. Wang Yang smiled lightly and replied, it's nothing, no need to mention it. A subordinate rushed in to report, Your Majesty, the state banquet is ready. Yilin Lang extended an invitation, Wang Yang the great emperor, please join us for the feast. Wang Yang smiled lightly and said, then it would be disrespectful not to obey. Outside the main hall, the palace maids had begun to dance and perform. 2 subordinates also brought in a large vessel to pour wine for Wang Yang. He looked at the full wine cup, sweated a bit, and thought to himself, since I crossed over, I haven't drunk any wine. I wonder if this wine is strong. The spirit system displayed a notification, detected that the host lord is about to drink wine, immediately receives the spiritual principles imperial grade, death aura transformation technique. The system interface also appeared before him, the death aura transformation technique can transform the taste of wine. The efficacy of the medicine and its deadly poison transforms into true qi, simultaneously enhancing the body's reaction speed. He looked at the system interface, laughing heartily, thinking, from now on, no matter what I eat or drink, I can do so with peace of mind. Yilin Lang stood up, raised her cup and said, "For the first cup, on behalf of the Emperor and the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion, I thank Wang Yang Great Emperor for the medicine that saved the State Master." After saying that, she drank from her cup first, then raised it again and said, "For the second cup, on behalf of every citizen of the Great Shing Empire, I toast to Wang Yang Great Emperor, thanking him for saving the Great Shing Empire. Cheers to Wang Yang Great Emperor." She raised another cup towards Wang Yang and said, "For the third cup, I toast to Wang Yang Great Emperor. From now on, Wang Yang Great Emperor will be the ruler of our Great Shing Empire." Those below were surprised by this statement and began to discuss, "What? The ruler? Isn't this too abrupt?" Some were delighted by the news and said, "If that is the case, then the Great Shing Empire will have 2 experts in the Emperor realm. Who would dare to look down on us in the future?" Yilin Lang then said, "Silence. I will instruct the National Master to choose a good day and an auspicious month for the marriage with Wang Yang Great Emperor." Lu Qinyao cupped her hands and bowed, saying, "May I report to the Empresses that this matter is of great importance and absolutely cannot be rushed." Yilin Lang glanced at Lu Qinyao and frowned, asking, "I have already sworn an oath to Heavenly Tao that I will not marry anyone other than Wang Yang Great Emperor. What right does a mere junior like you have to oppose?" Lu Qinyao stood up and firmly said to Yilin Lang, "It is not that I oppose the marriage between you and the ancestral master, but that the matter of marrying off and giving daughters requires proper procedures. If the Great Shing Empire takes everything upon itself, does that not show that our spirit sword sect is indifferent to the ancestral master?" Seeing the two before him continuously arguing on his behalf, Wang Yang thought it was quite enjoyable. Watching beautiful women quarrel is really interesting. This trip has not been in vain. The spirit system took the opportunity to quickly say, "Detected that the host lord is about to get married, special wedding rewards have been sent." Wang Yang felt so angry hearing this that he almost spat blood, shouting, "Shut up. This matter is still undecided. Who is in such a hurry like you?" Outside, a voice echoed in, "I've heard that an expert has come to the Great Shing Empire. The Left General of the Xianyu Empire, Qi Wen Yuan, has come here specifically to meet." Inside, upon hearing the voice and that name, everyone couldn't help but be shocked. "What? It's the Left General Qi Wen Yuan. Why is he here?" Yilin Lang also sat up, saying, "I didn't expect them to send the Left General Qi Wen Yuan here. It seems that heaven wants our Great Shing Empire to perish." At that moment, there was an atmosphere of solemnity and silence in the hall. Wang Yang had to speak up and ask, "Who exactly is this Left General Qi Wen Yuan?" The national teacher responded, "The Xianyu Empire has stood firm for thousands of years, currently having 1 emperor, 2 chancellors, and 4 generals, with a total of 7 experts in the emperor realm. Qi Wen Yuan is the left general among the 2 chancellors." Wang Yang calmly sipped his drink and asked, "If he is just an emperor realm expert, then why is everyone so panicked?" Yilin Lang explained to him, "The Left General Qi Wen Yuan isn't terrifying due to his strength, but he is the most cunning person in the Xianyu Empire. He is skilled in traps, schemes, and plans, having never failed to destroy a nation or bring about prosperity in an instant." Wang Yang looked up at the system and asked, "What realm is Qi Wen Yuan, after all?" The spirit system shrugged and said, "Sorry, host lord, within the scope of an uncheckable target, I cannot provide useful information." Wang Yang waved it off and said, "Then you may withdraw, I will surely encounter that Qi Wen Yuan soon." The spirit system also vanished, replying, "Yes, host lord." A voice rang out, "So, does that expert not want to meet me, Qi? Or does he look down on me?" Yilin Lang bowed and said to Wang Yang Great Emperor, I urge you to leave quickly and not get involved in the mundane matters of the Great Shing Empire. The favor owed today may only be repaid in the next life." The national master behind her whispered to her, "Your Majesty, absolutely not. If you allow him to succeed, then billions of citizens of the Great Shing Empire will fall into an eternal predicament." Lu Qinyao assessed the situation and also whispered to Wang Yang, "Master, this empire Xianyu is indeed not easily provoked. so we might as well go back to the spirit sword sect. Wang Yang calmly listened to her and said, before we could finish 2 cups of wine, someone has already come to disrupt. If this can be tolerated, what can't be tolerated? He turned to Yi Lin Lang and said, Your Majesty, how about? Before he could say anything, the national teacher suddenly knelt down, knocked his head, and exclaimed, Wang Yang, the monarch, truly cares for the people, saving the empire great Shing from the boiling oil and fire. Wang Yang, the benevolent monarch, is the honor of the empire great Shing and the blessing of all citizens. Simultaneously, the officials below all knelt down. Wang Yang heard them and frowned, thinking, that's it, I acted too slowly, the radiance has been stolen by the ancient Wan Yu. Yi Lin Lang a bit angrily shouted down to them, Wang Yang, the great emperor, is a guest of the empire great Shing. How can you force him to come forward for us? Wang Yang spoke to reassure her, don't be angry, if I cannot deal with one left general, I won't make it back. Yi Lin Lang was moved to the point of blushing and softly responded, we do not know how to repay this kindness, we can only wait for the Wang Yang great emperor to return victorious. Outside the defense line of the empire great Shing, the person called Qi Wen Yuan was currently channeling spiritual energy in his hand and snorted, it seems that the empire great Shing refuses to drink the offered wine and instead wants to drink the punishment wine. Van Yianfong activated his technique, and Wang Yang at this moment soared out, saying, Daoist friend, please be gentle. He flew up and stood firmly parallel to him. Qi Wen Yuan looked at Wang Yang and furrowed his brows, asking, are you the Wang Yang great emperor? Wang Yang humbly replied, I am merely a casual cultivator, how could I possibly be worthy of the attention of the Xian Yu left general? Hearing this response, he quietly assessed the person before him, thinking, this person was able to break Jiang brother's power with one move yet remains so humble. It seems he is not someone easy to deal with. After thinking this, he cautiously spoke up, Mr. Wang, you are truly humble. If you could come to our empire Xian Yu, your status would surely not be inferior to mine. Wang Yang sighed again and said, I am just a rough person. One cannot withstand the high positions and rich rewards. Mr. Qi is also a person who understands reason, and I want to offer a few words of advice. Xian Yu and Great Qing do not need to harm the harmony. Qi Wen Yuan laughed and recounted Yi Lin Lang's crimes, saying, Empress Yi Lin Lang has continuously annihilated 6 nations, with excessive force, we merely wish to uphold justice. Wang Yang then added, after all, unifying the 6 nations through brutal means will put an end to wars, which is also a great merit. Hearing Wang Yang's words, Qi Wen Yuan couldn't help but admire his intelligence, Brother Wang is indeed a persuasive speaker. However, today, I, Qi Wen Yuan, am here on a mission to apprehend Yi Lin Lang and bring her back to the country. Wang Yang replied solemnly, I respect Mr. Qi's attitude towards people and their relationships. Today, we should only discuss the matter at hand, let us not disrupt the harmony. Qi Wen Yuan's face showed little flexibility as he said, Brother Wang, when 2 nations are at war, conflicts are unavoidable. Is there no other way to resolve this? Wang Yang responded, the contest of gentlemen. It is not necessarily required to draw a sword to confront, one can also win through literature. Qi Wen Yuan did not refuse and said, all right, a literary contest. Then later, don't say I won without justification. Wang Yang achieved his goal and thought, competing with me in literature, soon I will use Chinese poetry in prose to defeat you. Qi Wen Yuan waved his hand, creating a chessboard in the air, and said, then let's have a game to determine the winner. If Brother Wang wins, I will not pursue the matter of Yi Lin Lang any further. Wang Yang's expression changed, thinking, wait a minute, why isn't this person following the usual rules? How could I possibly know how to play chess? The spirit system appeared and said, detected that the master is preparing to play chess, activating the ANI chess system. Wang Yang nervously looked at the system and asked, wait, dog system, is this ANI chess played by someone on Earth? The spirit system laughed and said, that's right, it's the latest enhanced version, even if you give up 3 pieces, you can still defeat the experts of Go in this world. Wang Yang, excited, asked, give up 3 pieces. Then my chess skills should be able to dominate in this world. Outside, he confidently grasped the victory and said, "If that's the case, I sincerely cannot refuse, Sir Invites." Qi Wen Yuan asked in doubt, "Wang brother, are you really letting me go first?" Wang Yang replied with confidence, "Who said going first? I will give you 2 pieces. Qi Wen Yuan, hearing something unsettling, called out, "Wang brother, are you humiliating me? Although I have some skill in chess, I can be considered one of the best in both empires, renowned from all directions." Wang Yang arrogantly raised a finger and said, "A gentleman has spoken, so it is difficult for you to follow. If Qi Sir wins, everything will be at your disposal." Qi Wen Yuan, also in a chivalrous manner, took out a sword and said, "And if I lose, this sword from Tian Ku will belong to you, and I will turn and leave." The system interface appeared, loading chess move progress. Wang Yang couldn't help but exclaim, "Indeed, it's AI intelligence. It seems it can easily defeat the opponent." Above, the chess battle was surrounded by a barrier with strange inscriptions. Those below looked up and said, "What? The national leader wants to play chess with the left minister Qi Wen Yuan. How could this possibly be won?" Indeed, Qi Wen Yuan once single-handedly faced 18 experts from the Xianyu Empire and emerged victorious. His strength was truly terrifying. Yi Lin Lang asserted, "Don't speak too soon, the national leader will certainly return victorious." The national advisor couldn't help but admire Wang Yang's versatility in his heart. To give 2 pieces against a super expert, this is truly unheard of. I hope nothing unexpected happens. Lu Qinyao also thought with admiration, "Master knows how to play chess, he really is talented." Qi Wen Yuan looked at the moves that Wang Yang made and couldn't help but think, "Yet every move he makes is brilliant, it's truly unimaginable." Meanwhile, Wang Yang, feeling smug, secretly laughed and said, "Indeed, as the rumors say, I am defeating him ruthlessly. Someone like me, a newcomer, can easily eliminate an expert." On this side, Qi Wen Yuan looked at the profound chessboard before him, sweating profusely, thinking, with the advantage of moving 2 pieces ahead, I am still being forced into a disadvantaged position. Wang Yang's chess skills are truly unfathomable. Onlookers find it difficult to understand, saying, "Why hasn't the left general signaled yet? Is he caught up in the game? Mr. Qi has his own plan, let's wait and see." Qi Wen Yuan above could not help but tremble, thinking, Why can every step I take be seen through?" He glanced over at Wang Yang, who appeared calm, wondering, Why isn't his mind on the chessboard? Could it be that he has realized the traps I've set behind? Wang Yang smirked in satisfaction, placed a piece down, and said, "Mr. Qi, this game is over. I concede." Qi Wen Yuan turned pale, unable to believe the situation before him, saying, "How is it possible? Even with a 2-piece lead, I still lose." He spoke again, unwilling to accept it, to the point of spitting blood. This can't be." Wang Yang looked at him in confusion, thinking, "Come on, it's just a game of chess, no need to take it so seriously." He continued to cough up more blood. Wang Yang looked at him, speechless, thinking, "Brother, it's just a game of chess. Is it really necessary to be so ostentatious?" The spirit system popped up a message, "Congratulations, host. By causing the opponent to lose mental focus, the realm has fallen to the rank of immortal king." Wang Yang stroked his chin, feeling that something was off, and asked, "Do you notice anything wrong?" The spirit system reported again, "It seems to be stuck in a bug, the reward cannot be displayed." Wang Yang laughed to the point of tears upon hearing this and said, "Are you trying to make me die laughing?" Wang Yang politely clasped his fists and said, "Qi brother has already given way." Suddenly, 2 figures appeared behind him, brandishing spears and thrusting toward Wang Yang. Both combined their attacks to execute the ultimate move, the violent charge, coupled with the starry technique. The combined technique struck down, resulting in a massive explosion. Wang Yang used the heaven and earth heavenly stem technique to shield himself. The 2 others, seeing this protective technique of Wang Yang, halted and said to one another, "Indeed, there is a turtle shell for protection. Old man, change angle and try again." "Understood. Mr. Wang Yang, my apologies." Saying that, both used their killer move to attack Wang Yang. He used the heaven and earth heavenly stem technique again, easily blocking that attack. He coldly looked at them and said, "If you wish to seek death, don't blame me for being ungracious." He raised one hand while the other formed a seal. The blonde-haired man gritted his teeth and said, How can this be?" Qi Wen Yuan shouted an order, "All right, you two step back." Then he clasped his hands and said dejectedly, "What happened just now was because I overestimated my abilities. Thank you, Mr. Wang Yang, for humbling yourself to teach me. We will abide by the agreement." Wang Yang waved his hand decisively and said, "Leave, no need to see you off." The blonde-haired man, confused, called out, "Minister Ta, why won't you step up to eliminate this disaster for His Majesty?" Qi Wen Yuan looked despondent and snorted, saying, "That Wang Yang is truly unfathomable. His chess skills have perhaps reached the realm of the artistic path." The blonde-haired man snorted and angrily said, "What's so special about playing chess?" Qi Wen Yuan replied, "It might be the heavenly Tao Saint realm, what do you think it is?" The more he heard, the more confused he became, asking, "Heavenly Tao Saint realm? No way." Qi Wen Yuan said again, "We must return and advise the emperor not to continue targeting the great Shing Empire. Otherwise, the consequences will be unimaginable." The spirit system was struggling here, saying, "I will come out immediately." Wang Yang looked at it with frustration, thinking, "Why do you look like you're constipated? Is something big about to happen?" After a while, the spirit system transformed into a large, beautifully colored stone, saying, "Great, I've finally refined it." Wang Yang looked at the stone, poked it with his finger and asked, "What kind of small fragment is this?" At first glance, it seems nothing special. The spirit system crossed its arms and explained, "This is a fragment of the heavenly Tao. Regardless of how outstanding one's innate talent is, if one does not understand the fragment of the heavenly Tao, they cannot become a heavenly Tao saint." Hearing this, he also pressed it against his body to absorb it and see what would happen. An old man with white hair, who was cultivating somewhere, sensed that aura and opened his eyes wide, saying, "This aura, could it be the fragment of the heavenly Tao? Has the great Tao battle not yet begun? Why is the fragment of the heavenly Tao appearing?" Another old man looked up at the sky and said, "This is a small fragment of the heavenly Tao appearing. It seems that a conflict is about to occur in the world." An enigmatic girl also sensed this and expressed her anticipation, saying, "I truly don't know who the small fragment of the heavenly Tao will fall into the hands of. I have been waiting for a long time." On another side, two people were playing chess and talking to each other. The fragment of the heavenly Tao appearing, could it be the trap you set? The fragment of the heavenly Tao is an irreplaceable way to become a saint, how could I possibly bring it out? Back at Wang Yang's location, he was floating in the air and asked in astonishment, "What is this?" The spirit system then said, "Host Lord, this is the altar of the heavenly Tao. In your sea of consciousness, placing that fragment on the circular plate in the center will activate the power of the heavenly Tao." Wang Yang followed the instruction and channeled his spiritual energy to send the stone to the altar. The small fragment gradually landed on the altar. As soon as it touched the altar, a massive pillar of power shot straight up into the sky. Wang Yang's realm continuously ascended. Great Emperor Realm Tier 3, Great Emperor Realm Tier 4, 9 grades of the bouncing Qi Path Shoujo. Wang Yang clenched his fists, feeling the currents of power flowing through his body and thinking to himself, "Oh my, not only has my realm been elevated, but I've also acquired a completely new heavenly Tao realm." The system's voice echoed, "The 9th grade Shoujo has received 3 black pieces and 3 white pieces, using each piece can bring different opportunities." Wang Yang looked at the system and said, "Using pieces to obtain opportunities? Is this external or internal? Please clarify." The system responded eagerly, "Host Lord, it's neither external nor internal. You have now become the game master and can use these pieces to help or hinder others." Wang Yang was quite impressed by this and said, "Game master? That sounds very impressive." The system shrugged and said, "The game master uses heaven and earth as the chessboard and living beings as the pieces. Everything is in your hands." Wang Yang felt a headache coming on and raised his hand to say, "Stop, stop, stop. Just get to the point. Aside from playing chess, do I have any other powers right now?" The system replied, Currently, the host lord can be immune to the suppression tactics from enemies of the same realm. It's also possible to remove the suppression from the Great Emperor realm. Wang Yang listened with a nose pick, scoffing. The male protagonist in novels is always the one who overcomes realms to kill enemies. This is truly useless. After a while, he also descended to the ground, and Yi Lin Lang quickly approached to praise him. I didn't expect your skills in chess to be so profound. I have gained new insights. Wang Yang calmly replied, Qi Wen Yuan's Dao heart was shattered due to losing in chess. His realm has fallen to the immortal king realm. He won't cause trouble for the great Shing Empire in the short term. Those below, including the officials, all expressed their gratitude and said in unison, the sovereign is majestic. Yi Lin Lang waved his hand and commanded, quickly pour more fine wine. Congratulations to the sovereign for returning victorious once again. Wang Yang's expression darkened as he held a white chess piece in his hand and tossed it above. A protective formation spread out, encasing the great Shing Empire. The system then presented a gift and a skill, saying, congratulations to the host for upgrading the national defense formation and establishing a connection with it. Currently, the system's reward is a tome of the divine swordsmanship, heavenly transformation 9 movement sword. The national master looked up in confusion and asked, what's going on? Why does the national defense formation look like this? Wang Yang didn't respond but silently thought, so the white pieces can be used like this, and they can also use living beings as pieces. Does that mean you can control others? He then had an inappropriate thought. What if I could make Yi Lin Lang wear seductive maid outfits and say, husband, this outfit is really embarrassing. After thinking this, he turned to explain to everyone, calm down, don't panic. I just upgraded the national defense formation a bit. Unless a strong supreme comes in person, this formation should be able to withstand any external enemies. Upon hearing this, the national master understood and thought, the national defense formation has indeed been strengthened. This great emperor Wang Yang is truly extraordinary. One of the officials below clasped his hands and said, the national leader is truly formidable. He must have reached the cultivation of a supreme. Someone chuckled lightly, took a sip of hot tea, and spoke. I didn't expect the calculations of the left minister, who never seems to lack resources, would occasionally fail. A man dressed in purple stood below, clasping his hands and saying, Empress Yi Lin Lang invited the powerful figure known as Wang Yang. His strength is unfathomable. I hope your majesty will temporarily delay actions against the great Shing Empire. The Xianyue emperor slammed the table, angrily shouting, a useless bunch. You can't even handle a small empire like Great Shing. Call the general back immediately and tell her to directly wipe out the Great Shing Empire. A frightened official, dripping with cold sweat, clasped his hands and said, Your Majesty, we absolutely cannot do that. This is a crucial time for the northern expedition, please do not ruin the national plan out of a moment of anger. The Xianyue emperor stood up and waved his hand, saying, Capturing Yi Lin Lang is the most important thing right now. If he cannot be captured, I will definitely lead the troops into battle, staining Great Shing with blood. On the side of the Great Shing Empire, the banquet had begun, and all the officials rushed in, clasping their hands, continuously praising. The sovereign is wise and martial. Just one game of chess has terrified such a strong enemy. The sovereign has unparalleled divine skill, continuously defeating the vanguard of the Xianyue Empire. The state teacher, sitting to the side, spoke up. Your Majesty, Sovereign, I have just calculated that 5 days from now is a day of great fortune to hold the wedding. I suggest we start preparing for the marriage now. Yi Lin Lang's face flushed red as she shyly asked the national advisor, is this plan too hasty? Such an important matter surely requires the national leader's input. Wang Yang maintained a calm expression, unaffected by her words, and thought, one of them plays the villain while the other plays the hero, do I have any chance to refuse? After thinking, he said, can this marriage arrangement allow me to return to the Spirit Sword Sect for some preparations? Upon hearing this, Yi Lin Lang's face showed a sense of urgency as she replied, Your Majesty, all matters related to the wedding can be handled by the national advisor, there is no need for you to worry at all. Lu Qinyao also stood up, responding to Yi Lin Lang. National advisor, Your Majesty, even if Empire Great Shing handles everything here, the ancestral master must return to prepare gifts and other wedding arrangements. Hearing this, Yi Lin Lang couldn't refute and said, Lu Miss is right. The national leader just mentioned that this is indeed a significant matter for the Spirit Sword sect and requires thorough preparation. She turned to the national advisor and said, I am just a little concerned. The Spirit Sword sect and the Great Shing Empire have differences in customs and practices. Will this cause some conflicts later on? Hearing this, the national master turned to Wang Yang and said, if the national lord intends to return to the Spirit Sword sect, may I be allowed to accompany you? I am the national master of the Great Shing Empire and am quite familiar with the wedding process. Wang Yang considered the situation and thought, this marriage is my first time, and it's also the first time for a crossover. I haven't studied this before, so I should leave it to someone else to handle. After thinking for a moment, he agreed, saying, then the national master can come with us to the Spirit Sword sect. After a while, all the officials, along with Yi Lin Lang and the national master, saw Wang Yang off on his return journey. Yi Lin Lang hesitated slightly and said, National Lord, I feel a bit reluctant and want to go back to the Spirit Sword sect with you. Wang Yang laughed and replied, what is there to be reluctant about? In 5 days, I will welcome you back as my wife. Yi Lin Lang shyly said, actually, I am not quite ready yet. Wang Yang curiously looked at her and asked, not ready for what? He leaned close to her, smiled softly, and whispered, is it that you are not well prepared to become my wife, or not prepared to bear children for me? Yi Lin Lang blushed and playfully scolded, you're so annoying. Wang Yang turned to leave and said, it's getting late, we should set off soon. The three of them, Wang Yang, the national master, and Lu Qinyao, sat majestically on their grand mount, causing the other officials to exclaim, this vehicle is truly magnificent. The national master is indeed a deity. The national master, sitting beside Wang Yang, glanced at him with suspicion, thinking, a supreme being in the world does not have such a carriage. Who exactly is Wang Yang, the national leader? After thinking, she cautiously asked, Wang Yang, national leader, I am a bit curious, may I ask which holy land you are from? He hummed as if considering the answer, but internally he was silently asking, System, what holy lands are there in this world? The spirit system materialized, boasting about its knowledge. Host Lord, you have asked the right person. This world has 10 major holy lands. Tai Yi Holy Land, Xian Tian Holy Land, Haofei Holy Land, Lu Yuan Holy Land, Yunchuan Holy Land. Wang Yang listened with a headache, secretly calculating, if he casually got involved with these holy lands, it would inevitably lead to a lot of trouble in the future. It would be best to just say he was a casual cultivator. After thinking this, he spoke up to respond to the national priest. I am just an ordinary casual cultivator and have never been to any of the 10 great holy lands. The national priest was taken aback and said, I didn't expect the national leader to come from casual cultivators. This talent and fortune is truly frightening. The spirit system appeared and urgently said, Report Host Lord, the grand formation of the Spirit Sword sect is under heavy attack. Wang Yang did not respond but silently speculated, who were the unfortunate ones who came to destroy his home? Who were these disrespectful people daring to take advantage of his absence to break in? The mount was set in motion, and the national priest noticed Wang Yang's changing expression and asked, National leader, what was wrong just now? Wang Yang calmly replied, it's nothing, just that our Spirit Sword sect may be encountering some trouble. On this side, Ling Ji is truly leading 2 junior brothers and a disciple to fiercely attack the barrier of the Spirit Sword sect, causing violent explosions to erupt below. The disciple, seeing that their continuous strikes on the barrier had no effect, spoke up, the formation of this sect is really strange, it hasn't budged at all. Upon hearing him, the elder quietly assessed the formation and thought, the Spirit Sword sect has always been discreet, I didn't expect it to have such a powerful formation. I must capture it today. 2 streams of red and green spiritual energy collided above and continuously struck the barrier. The master, along with Bai Fong elder and Chang Feng, stood inside the barrier, unable to help but tense up and look up, saying, this sect's formation surely can't hold out much longer, right? This formation was set up by the founder himself, how could it be so easily breached? Someone unexpectedly responded from above, capturing the attention of everyone present. Seeing Wang Yang, Lu Qingyao, and the national master return, the master couldn't help but joyfully exclaim, "The founder has returned." Wang Yang frowned and boldly stepped in to ask, "What exactly is going on?" Master quickly approached and responded respectfully, "Those cultivators were just passing by, and I don't know why they took notice of our sect's grand formation." Lu Qingyao clenched his fists and angrily asked, "Which sect dares to have the audacity to invade our spirit sword sect?" Wang Yang frowned, secretly lamenting for the outsiders. What bad luck, they chose just the right moment to seek their own death. "I'm preparing for a wedding and I must drive these mutts away." He thought for a moment and then casually stepped forward, planning to confront the outsiders, while reminding the master, "Please take good care of Lord National Master while I'm gone." He gracefully approached, looked at the people above, and proudly declared, "Who are these stray dogs that dare to cause trouble at our spirit sword sect?" He frowned with his hands behind his back, watching the group. The chubby guy in the group pointed and loudly yelled back at Wang Yang without shame, "This little brat dares to insult our Fengyan sect. It looks like you have sought your own death. Go back and tell your master to hand over the sect's grand formation quickly. If not, wait until the formation is destroyed. The spirit sword sect will have nothing left." Wang Yang listened to him speak and couldn't help but smirk in disdain, saying, "So you intend to come here to kill, rob treasures, and destroy the sect? These worthless soldiers really make me laugh." He thought little of them and wondered, why do these people sound like mercenaries as soon as they open their mouths? Isn't this just asking for death? Ling Ji stroked his beard and threatened with a foul mouth, "You, the insignificant spirit sword sect, do not deserve this formation. Even if we don't take it, others will come to rob. Hand it over obediently, and we may spare your life." Wang Yang summoned the system and said, "Help me check what cultivation these mercenaries really have." The spirit system shrugged and replied, "1 is a second-tier great emperor, 2 are peak immortal kings, and 1 is a fully realized immortal." Wang Yang scoffed in contempt, waving his hand and thinking, "Aren't these just true mercenaries? And yet they dare to be arrogant in front of me. Just when I still have a divine swordsmanship technique left to learn. Let me take you all as practice exercises then." After thinking, he pressed on the system panel again. The announcement sounded, "The system detects that the master is learning swordsmanship, immediately rewarding the heavenly transformation 9 epic sword, cultivate to perfection." The system detects that the master is learning swordsmanship, immediately rewarding the 9 transformations divine sword formula, cultivate to perfection. A blinding golden light erupted from within Wang Yang, ascending powerfully. He raised his hand to summon his treasured sword and said, "In 10 breaths, all of you get lost, or I will kill you all." Ling Ji Zhenren paid no heed to Wang Yang's words, boasting, "Even your previous master had to bow his head and call me Exalted One when he met me. I never expected that after just 200 years, the spirit sword sect would produce a boastful person like you." His gray-haired disciple took the lead, sword in hand, arrogantly saying, "Master, why waste time talking to him? Just cripple him and destroy the spirit sword sect." Wang Yang was tired of this group and flew directly to strike an ultimate killing blow to his confused face. He only managed to call out, "Master," before returning to fulfill his ancestors' orders. Ling Ji Zhenren stammered, "My disciple." He looked at Wang Yang and said, You dare to act against my Fengyan sect." Wang Yang was not afraid of anyone and pointed his sword directly at his unpleasant face, saying, "You have offended the spirit sword sect, which is already unforgivable, and with such a vicious attitude, you are merely seeking your own death." At that moment, the old man seemed to have gone mad. With veins bulging on his face, he raised his sword and shouted, "You killed my disciple. Today, I, Ling Ji Zhenren, will make all of your spirit sword sect pay with your lives." He aimed his sword at Wang Yang. Wang Yang also pointed his sword at him and snorted, repeating the words, "Pay with your lives. Fine, then I will send you down to the underworld to join your disciple." The fat man seemed to realize something and spoke up to stop Ling Ji Zhenren, "Senior brother, don't be impulsive. This guy is at least a great emperor in cultivation, we must act cautiously." Ling Ji Zhenren had already prepared his technique and said, "Junior brother, quickly use the infinite trapping array to imprison this fellow and take revenge for my poor disciple." Hearing this, he let out a snort in frustration, and then together with Ling Ji Zhenren and the junior brother, they set up the spell to trap Wang Yang inside. He shouted loudly, "Sun and moon stars, gathering of heaven, earth, and humanity, activate the infinite array." Wang Yang's current rank was gradually dropping from Great Emperor Tier 4, with his cultivation reduced to Immortal King full circle, and then suppressed to Immortal King early stage by the formation. Ling Ji Zhenren's eyes flashed with bloodlust as he brandished his sword and shouted, "Little guy, you shall die." Wang Yang watched the three of them perform their theatrics and declared, "Naive." Then he said, "You don't think that just by relying on this broken formation to suppress my cultivation you can win, do you?" Wang Yang raised his sword high, using the heavenly Tao shifting technique, and shouted, "Break for me." Wang Yang's realm began to rise gradually, from Immortal King early stage to Immortal King full circle, and then to Great Emperor Tier 4. The fat guy was frightened and called out, "Senior brother, this guy is restoring his realm again, what should we do?" Ling Ji Zhenren was also secretly astonished, thinking, "How can this be? Unless cultivation reaches the divine realm, one cannot remain unaffected." He still spoke loudly, "What is there to fear? The infinite trigram formation can elevate our cultivation. Just wait a moment and we will strike together. I don't believe 3 great emperors cannot handle this little guy." The fat man also boldly replied, "All right, senior brother." Ling Ji Zhenren thrust his sword forward and shouted, "Heavenly Sword of the Clouds." The other two also recited their moves, the Earth Sword breaking music and the Human Sword destroying soul. Wang Yang smiled lightly, disdainfully, "You guys are not mature enough." He jumped up, dodging their moves, and then executed the heaven and earth transformation with the power of the boundless void, saying, "So weak, have you not eaten yet?" Ling Ji Zhenren was taken aback and said, "Here. How is this possible?" Wang Yang raised his treasure sword high and mocked, "I gave you a chance, but you can't achieve anything. Now it's my turn to make a move." Ling Ji Zhenren felt uneasy and warned, "Junior brother, quickly retreat." In less than a moment, Wang Yang unleashed a move from the heavens transformation of the 9 tribulation sword, striking the blonde-haired man directly and causing him to cry out in pain, "Huh!" The chubby one shouted in panic, "Junior brother." Then Wang Yang appeared behind him and replied, "Don't be in a hurry, I will soon send you to meet your junior brother." Saying that, he used the heavenly transformation 9-realm spirit sword to slash him in one strike to meet that junior brother. When Wang Yang glanced over, he saw Ling Ji Zhenren fleeing the scene. He was flying away while grinding his teeth, thinking, "This guy is too powerful, I must run. Junior brother, I'm sorry, in the future senior brother will take revenge for you." Wang Yang pointed his sword at him and said, "This old man reacts quickly. You should also go and seek enlightenment." Then he used the heavenly transformation 9-realm sword technique to strike at him. Wang Yang took out a talisman and set it on fire, silently chanting, "Divine soul scattering, spell release." A column of flame shot out, immediately cutting through Ling Ji Zhenren. The spirit system displayed a notification, "Host Lord, the system has detected a soul rapidly escaping. Do you want to directly eliminate this soul?" Wang Yang sneered, still gathering the flames in his hand and said, "No need to worry, it's just the right time to tease him a bit." Ling Ji Zhenren, though left with only a thread of the remnants of his soul, still tried to fly quickly, feeling resentful and thinking, "You spirit sword sect, just wait for me, poor man." Wang Yang descended from above with rich aura, surrounding the spirit sword sect. The master and the elders in the sect bowed, clasping their hands and shouted, "Welcome master." Lu Qinyao approached and asked, "Master, who are those people from which sect?" Wang Yang calmly replied, "I heard they are from Fengyun sect. I have dealt with them all." The master and Baifang elder were startled by this name and asked, "What? Fengyun sect? Oh dear, my master, what are we going to do about this?" Wang Yang asked in confusion, "What's going on? Does the Fengyun sect have a strong supreme realm?" The national master standing next to him spoke up, "Your Majesty, it is said that the master of the Fengyun sect is a strong great emperor realm, but behind them is the Yunyin sect, which has several strong supreme realm protectors." Wang Yang looked over at Lu master and asked, "The Fengyun sect has a great emperor, so how come the Yunyin sect has supremes? What about our spirit sword sect, which only has a weak integration stage holding the fort. Master scratched his head and stammered, our spirit sword sect still has the old man, doesn't it? The national master chuckled lightly and said, Lu master, after the national marriage, the sovereign must often stay in the capital, by the side of the empress. Lu master, hearing this, looked pale as he asked back, what? Then our spirit sword sect is. Wang Yang spoke loudly to the master and the elders, summon a sect conference. First, we must encourage everyone to prepare for the wedding and then we will think about the rest. Everyone bowed in unison and replied, yes, master. At this moment, many people had already gathered at the sect's entrance. People crowded together to look inside and discuss. Have you heard? The master of Spirit Sword Sect has appeared. The Empress of the Great Shing Empire has come personally to present a gift. It's truly enviable. Stop talking, be careful not to get heard by the elders, or they'll come after you. Wang Yang slowly descended from above, surrounded by thick, dazzling true qi. One person looked up and said, that's the master. Really too young. Somehow looks a bit familiar. Wait, is he the Wang Yang from behind? No, it can't be, right? As Wang Yang landed below, an overwhelming pressure was released, lighting up the entire sect. A guy stammered, This is the aura of the strong great emperor realm. Wang Yang stood above, calmly clasping his hands behind him, and spoke. Everyone, in 5 days, I will be marrying the Empress of the Great Shing Empire. I hope all of you will work hard for a few days and cooperate with the national teacher and me to reorganize the Spirit Sword Sect. The people below began to discuss among themselves again. Oh dear, he wants to take a concubine to do his work. The end of the month will be a test. Isn't this too difficult? The people above and the state teacher all knelt down, calling, Master, we will definitely do our best to prepare the wedding for you and the empresses. Wang Yang continued, after my wedding, all disciples, regardless of inner or outer disciples, will receive 3 washing marrow pills and chi fusion pills. All elders will receive 3 spirit condensing pills each. At that time, I will select talent within the sect and guide them myself. Lu Master was so overjoyed that tears streamed down his face as he repeatedly bowed, saying, Thank you, Master, for generously giving us the pills without giving us teachings. From now on, you are the supreme master of our Spirit Sword Sect. He stood up, pointed his finger and said, What are you all standing there for? Hurry up and thank the Supreme Master. The disciples immediately knelt down, loudly saying, Thank you, Supreme Master, for your grace. Lu Master continuously raised his hands in cheers, help the Spirit Sword Sect become strong once again. Help the Spirit Sword Sect become strong once again. Wang Yang glanced at the system and asked, These rewards, you should be able to prepare them all, right? The spirit system confidently patted its chest and said, No problem. The bag is on our person. Regarding the Fengyun sect, the master said to Ling Ji Zhenren, who was kneeling below, I have regenerated your body. However, with this realm, it may be difficult to return. Ling Ji Zhenren repeatedly bowed his head, saying, Master, the Spirit Sword Sect has treated us cruelly, even killing the 5th junior brother and the 7th junior brother. If we do not seek revenge, I cannot be human. The master stroked his beard, considered the situation, and said to him, You have set up the Santai Wuyang formation yet have still done nothing to him. It seems that this person's realm has reached the supreme level. Ling Ji Zhenren angrily asked, Does this mean our Fengyun sect must swallow this humiliation? He fell silent for a moment after hearing that and then spoke up again, This person absolutely cannot be left alive. I must go to the Yunin sect, requesting them to take action to eliminate the Spirit Sword Sect. Hearing this, Ling Ji Zhenren immediately bowed his head, saying, Thank you, Master, for standing up for the 5th junior brother and the 7th junior brother. He secretly felt pleased, thinking, Your Spirit Sword Sect is finished. Meanwhile, Elder Baifeng was very busy, ordering the disciples, move a bit faster. The branch here also needs to be pruned a bit. The disciple responded, Yes, by Elder. On another side, a disciple asked, Chi Elder, is this good enough? He looked up and, still not satisfied, pointed above and said, It's too skewed. The lantern needs to be moved a bit this way. Lu Qinyao on this side also instructed the disciple, this is the wedding of the Supreme Master, we absolutely cannot be careless. The female disciple replied, understood, Lu Elder. Meanwhile, the national teacher handed over a scroll to Lu Master, saying, this is the list of the betrothal gifts prepared by the great Shing Empire. Please have a look. As Lu Master received it, he opened it to check. His face then turned pale as he internally read the names of several items, the infinite flow magic treasure, the heavenly fire glazed cauldron, the nirvana fire phoenix, and the extreme sea blood coral. These betrothal gifts are already too precious. Our spirit sword sect fundamentally cannot provide gifts that are worthy. Seeing him trembling while holding the scroll, the national teacher waved his hand and said, Lu Master does not need to worry too much. The sovereign and the empresses are mutually attracted, just a little sincerity in the betrothal gifts is enough. Wang Yang walked in from outside and overheard the conversation between the two, saying, how can the grand wedding between me and the Empress be so casual? Even if our spirit sword sect can be lenient, we cannot disregard the great Shing Empire. The state teacher clasped his hands and bowed, responding, my lord, it is I who was too hasty. I should not have made decisions unilaterally for the spirit sword sect. Wang Yang produced a scroll and said, the betrothal gifts have been prepared for a long time. I absolutely will not treat my future wife poorly. The state teacher opened it and was astonished, excitedly reading aloud. The divine pill, Tai Yi sword, 7 radiant glories robe, profound ice divine feather, 9 heavens thunder pearl, phoenix Ming Chaoyang jade. My lord, you are truly generous to our empress. Meanwhile, Master Lu was taken aback by surprise after surprise and thought, these treasures, I have never heard of most of them. Is our spirit sword sect really this wealthy? The spirit system appeared, its nose almost growing to the ground, and arrogantly asked, so, how is it, master? Do the betrothal gifts I prepared for you meet your approval? Wang Yang was also pleased, gave it a like, and said, this time, I really have to thank you. You have helped me with a great task. The spirit system arrogantly snorted and said, these gifts are just a small token of sincerity. Tomorrow will be the significant event, and that will be the grand ceremony of this system. Finally, 3 days later, the disciples in the sect all wore bright red outfits, standing in line, looking up and saying, the great Shing Empire is thousands of miles away, how can we possibly get there? Don't worry, master. They have surely prepared everything. The state master and Wang Yang stood outside. She asked, Lord of the state, why hasn't the bride's carriage arrived yet? Wang Yang remained calm and replied, don't worry, the bride's carriage will be here soon. In the sky above, a large, dazzling golden carriage appeared, pulled by 3 pure white horses at the front. The spirit system manifested and called out, Host Lord, the momentum of the bridal procession is quite impressive. Wang Yang was quite pleased this time and said, everything is very luxurious and elegant. It looks beautiful. The state master had still not been able to believe his eyes and stammered, how can there be so many 6-dragon imperial chariots like this? Wang Yang chuckled lightly and said, the auspicious time has arrived. We can set off now. Wang Yang and the national master quickly departed. The disciples below also echoed, long live the supreme master. Yi Lin Lang over here was also ready, sitting and waiting for the bride-fetching party to arrive. Nevertheless, she still felt uneasy inside, thinking, why hasn't the national ruler arrived yet? At that moment, an announcement rang out, the national ruler has arrived. This announcement startled Yi Lin Lang, and she instinctively reached to remove the wedding veil from her head and asked, what? The national ruler has arrived? Is he here to fetch the bride? The maid beside her saw her about to lift the veil and hurriedly called out, Your Majesty, you cannot remove the veil. Wang Yang also stepped inside from outside. He looked at the person whose beautiful face was covered by the red veil and couldn't help but blush a little, thinking, I didn't expect that after crossing over, I could get such a beautiful bride. This time will not be in vain. Wang Yang walked over, took Yi Lin Lang's hand, and called out, My dear, the auspicious hour has come. Are you willing to accompany me and spend this life together? Yi Lin Lang softly replied, I am willing. Wang Yang reached out to lift Yi Lin Lang's bridal veil. As the embroidered curtain was drawn back, Yi Lin Lang looked at him, blushing, and called out, husband. Wang Yang, drooling at the sight of her, secretly chuckled to himself, thinking, my wife is truly beautiful. Wang Yang took her hand and they walked outside. The elders immediately shouted, may the immortals bless the national sovereign and his majesty with everlasting longevity. May the national sovereign and his majesty enjoy eternal love. Stepping outside, Yi Lin Lang saw the six-dragon imperial chariot above and stammered, this. She suddenly lost her balance and exclaimed, "Eh." Wang Yang picked her up in his arms, flew up to the six-dragon imperial chariot, and chuckled teasingly, it's just getting into the chariot, it's not like we're entering the bridal chamber, what is there to worry about? Yi Lin Lang felt shy and called out, husband, you are actually teasing me. In the midst of their joy, a bolt of lightning struck down from above. Wang Yang looked over in surprise. Lu Qinyao and the national master inside the carriage were also puzzled, lifting the curtain to look outside, and said, what on earth is this? Yi Lin Lang cautiously called out, husband, could it be that someone from the Xianyu Empire has come? Wang Yang snorted contemptuously and said, if they have indeed come, they really know how to pick a day. The mistress does not need to worry, I will be back shortly. At this moment above, Qi Wen Yuan and a certain woman appeared with an overwhelming presence, holding a spear and looking boldly down. Qi Wen Yuan flew behind, continuously sighing helplessly, thinking to himself, in the end, it still couldn't be avoided. The emperor must follow through this time. On this side, the blonde man along with Jiang Yunqi and Song Tai-yi combined their strength to launch an attack downward. As Jiang Yunqi hit with force, he gritted his teeth and said, damn it. Why is this turtle still getting tougher? It's driving me crazy. Over here, Wang Yang glanced at Zhu Xian Lord and Qi Wen Yuan. He looked helplessly and said, Mr. Wang Yang, long time no see. I wonder if you are still well. Wang Yang laughed out loud, disdainfully saying, take back your deceitful demeanor, Qi Wen Yuan. You have the audacity to flip-flop and come to disturb the great Shing Empire repeatedly. He looked exasperated and added, imperial commands are hard to defy, Mr. Wang Yang. As long as you can hand over Empress Yi Lin Lang to us, I am willing to do anything to compensate. Wang Yang's expression turned cold as he directly drew the Tai-yi sword and laughed mockingly. Compensation. Today is a day of great joy for me and the empresses. I do not want to see blood. If your Xianyu Empire continues to force people like this, then do not expect to escape today. Qi Wen Yuan cupped his fists and pleaded with Lord Zhu Xian, allow me to handle this first, what do you think? Lord Zhu Xian coldly replied with a single word to him. Qi Wen Yuan raised his hand and said, 3 generals, please assist me in setting up the formation. He clasped his hands and chanted, Azure Dragon rising, White Tiger smiling, Vermilion bird dancing, black tortoise standing firm. For symbols divine power, hear my command. Summon. The 4 symbols divine power immediately appeared, towering above, surrounding Wang Yang and forming a formation around him. His face was dark, and he broke into an inscrutable smile, saying, very well. The azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise have gathered. But in my eyes, they are merely snakes, cats, birds, and turtles. He unleashed true chi and shouted loudly, watch me tear apart your tiny formation. He tightly gripped the treasured sword in his hand, a wave of spiritual energy pressing around him. You want to use snakes, cats, birds, and turtles to frighten me? Watch me tear apart your formation. He jumped up and thought, Qi Wen Yuan is the one in charge of the formation. If I kill him, this formation will be broken. With that in mind, Wang Yang exerted his power. The sword was also enveloped by a strong sword intent. He swung down with great force. Qi Wen Yuan looked up at the move and found himself unable to move, thinking, this is not good. This sword technique is too strong. He called out loudly for help, everyone, assist me. All four streams of spiritual energy struck with the techniques Heavenly Transformation 9 Continent Sword, Still Heavenly Fresh and Fourfold Demonic Suppression Array, Azure Dragon Law Painting, but it seemed that Wang Yang's technique easily overwhelmed the four symbols formation. Shortly after, the four symbols formation was broken. Qi Wen Yuan spat out blood continuously, trying to resist while thinking, this really is a domineering sword technique. If it weren't for the protective magic weapon, I would have lost my life just now. On this side, Wang Yang gritted his teeth in anger, secretly cursing, damn it, this formation indeed has some evil sect traits. The heavenly slash just now should have been able to cripple Qi Wen Yuan. Yi Lin Lang stood below, anxiously watching the fight. She waved her hand and ordered, quickly bring the phoenix feather chain sword to me. I want to go help the national leader break the formation. The national master immediately blocked her, saying, Your Majesty, you must not. This four symbols demonic suppression array is a creation of the Xian Tian Holy Land, incredibly mysterious. Unless one is a supreme cultivation level, it is impossible to break the formation from the inside. Yi Lin Lang listened helplessly, gritting her teeth and saying, So, are we just going to sit here and watch the national leader be bullied by those from the Xianyu Empire? The national teacher spoke up to reassure, Your Majesty, do not rush. Wang Yang, the national master, possesses profound cultivation and secrets that are beyond measure. He will surely find a way to break the formation. Up above, Wang Yang looked over at Qi Wen Yuan, surprised, thinking, Qi Wen Yuan's injuries have healed so quickly. This formation is truly somewhat miraculous. It seems I need to try harder. He once again raised his sword, loudly reciting the technique, Heavenly Transformation 9 Epic Sword Reincarnation, then thrusting the sword forward, said loudly, Let's see how you all withstand this strike. He slashed fiercely towards the four-symbol formation. Qi Wen Yuan grimaced and shouted, Don't be so arrogant. Afterward, he commanded the four-symbol formation to attack, but Wang Yang merely raised his sword to block its claws. As he defended, he thought to himself, It seems I need to think of a way to break the formation. The system spirit appeared and said, Host Lord need not worry, I have thought of a way to break the formation for you. As one claw lunged at him, Wang Yang dodged and exclaimed to the system, Let's see what way you have prepared to break the formation. The spiritual energy system said, The measurement check shows that the host lord's desire to break the formation is intense, so a divine reward in the form of a heavenly spirit doll of saintly quality has been specially offered. She said that and extended her mini hand, saying, For you. Wang Yang closed his eyes, absorbing the method to break the formation granted by the system. He opened his eyes and thought, I thought it was the fiery-eyed golden spirit of Sun Wukong, but it turned out to be the heavenly eye like Yang Jian. He showed no expression and said, Very good. Now let me see where the core eye of this turtle formation is. He looked at the four people guarding the four corners of the four-symbol formation. He opened his heavenly eye wide and said, Found it. Then he used the technique of the Heavenly Evolution 9 Tribulation Spirit Sword Thunderstrike, attacking that spot. All three were struck by that technique in the formation's eye and spat blood. Jiang Yunqi's realm was reduced, from Great Emperor realm tier 2 down to Immortal King mid-tier. He looked at the blood in his palm and said, That guy Wang Yang, how could my realm, what on earth happened? Wang Yang unexpectedly appeared from behind, saying, Thank you for still remembering me before you die. He could barely shape his thoughts when Wang Yang dealt him an ultimate killing blow. Next, he used the technique of Heavenly Transformation 9 Calamities Sword Spirit to slash out two sword strikes towards the blonde man and Song Tai-yi. Qi Wen Yuan clutched the wound on his chest, his realm dropping from Great Emperor 5th stage to Primary Great Emperor realm. He gritted his teeth, secretly thinking, Is this, truly the real strength of Wang Yang? It's really terrifying. Wang Yang raised his sword high, creating a killer move, and said, All right, now there's only you left, Qi Wen Yuan. He slashed down with a technique called Heavenly Transformation 9 Calamities Sword Wind Thunderbreak, but the attack was unexpectedly blocked by a large spear flying towards him. Wang Yang was taken aback and quickly retracted his move to assess the situation. The one who had blocked the attack was none other than Lord Zhu Xian, her face still cold as she stated, Kill the left general. I won't allow it. Wang Yang privately lamented, this right General Zhu Xin indeed has some strength, to withstand my heavenly transformation 9 calamities sword as if it were nothing. I wonder what realm she has reached. The spirit system appeared and said, Host Lord, didn't you just acquire the divination spirit probe? You can use it to check the opponent's cultivation realm. Hearing this, he suddenly remembered to use the divination spirit probe to examine. He glanced over and saw that Zhu Xin Lord's underwear was a very alluring light pink. He immediately had a nosebleed and thought, so it's light pink. Looks like the contrast is a bit strong. The spirit system also felt helpless regarding Wang Yang, saying, My host Lord, you're using it the wrong way. This is the function of the spirit probe. Zhu Xin Lord blushed, swung her spear, and shouted, You rogue. Go die. Wang Yang remained expressionless, thinking, so she does know how to feel embarrassed. I thought she was an aura blow-up doll. Zhu Xin Lord jumped up, thrusting her spear forward, but Wang Yang managed to block it with his sword. Her realm was Great Emperor Realm Grade 8, while Wang Yang's realm was Great Emperor Realm Grade 4. Zhu Xin Lord twirled her spear, preparing to deliver a powerful strike. She swung her spear down with the technique of star spear decision, sending out a fierce attack. Wang Yang's face also showed a look of concentration as he gritted his teeth and used his sword to parry the attack. After that, he leaped backward, thinking to himself, indeed, the strength of a Great Emperor Realm 8th tier is not small. It seems I must be careful in my response. Qi Wen Yuan flew to the side and advised, Mr. Wang Yang, you should really give up. The General Zhu Xin possesses power enough to annihilate a nation, you cannot defeat her. Wang Yang disdainfully swung his sword, executing a move with the Heavenly Evolution 9 Tribulation Spirit Sword Lightning Slash, shouting, Nonsense. It's not your turn to flail about like a defeated foe. The sword slashed back and forth, causing him to spit blood in pain. Zhu Xin took the opportunity to thrust with her spear again. Wang Yang was able to dodge that thrust in time, but she did not give up and continued to stab with her spear, employing the fine spear arts of the wisdom of the stars. Wang Yang was astonished, his eyes widening, thinking, this body is surprisingly flexible. Is she really not a blow-up doll? The system spirit reminded him, Host Lord, watch out for the spear. Wang Yang promptly defended against the spear, thinking, I was too distracted by her figure and almost fell into her trap. He stepped back and spoke, the Great Emperor realm at the 8th level indeed has some limitations. Interesting, the system spirit excitedly said, Host Lord, the secret technique can help you directly advance to the supreme realm. Wang Yang smiled and said, if I activate the golden finger, it won't be as fun anymore. Let me continue to toy with her a bit. The system spirit did not insist but said, I never expected you wouldn't like the style of crushing everything. Wang Yang then said, right, I remember there was a lot of valuable merit accumulated before, right? Can it be used? Upon hearing the question, it replied, the system's measurement detects that the host intends to convert the merit value. The current system announces a reward of a scroll of spiritual principles of the saintly grade merit holy mysterious volume. Wang Yang smiled and thought, great, finally this merit value is useful. He thought for a moment and said, cultivate. The system announced again, congratulations host for cultivating the spiritual principles of the saintly grade merit holy mysterious volume. The merit Dharma body realm has reached the imperial 9th level. Wang Yang from the merit Dharma body imperial 9th level. The spirit system announced, my cultivation has reached the great emperor 4th grade, combined with the Dharma body of the 9th grade Dejuan. Host Lord, your strength is now no less than supreme. He spoke to Zhu Xin Lord, then it's good now. Let's have some playful training with the powerful embodiment of the Xian Yu Empire. Zhu Xin Lord frowned in disbelief, saying, why have you become stronger? Wang Yang raised his hand, looked at the power in his hand and chuckled, saying, how much have I really strengthened? Why don't you come over and see for yourself? Zhu Xin Lord angrily shouted, seeking death. Then she unleashed the starfall spear of the 7 stars. Wang Yang calmly raised his sword to block and said, how can the light of a phoenix fire compare to the sunlight and moonlight? He recited the move, Heavenly Transformation 9 Tribulation Sword, Authentic Sun Spear with no sword, then struck out with a powerful blow, causing Ju Xian Lord to exclaim and drop the treasured spear from her hand. Wang Yang immediately seized it. The spirit system appeared, sighed, and said, I didn't expect it to be a holy level spear. But it is somewhat damaged, so it can only exert the power of a celestial grade. The levels of treasures are, mundane, true, spiritual, celestial, emperor, holy, heavenly Tao, supreme treasure. Ju Xian Lord shouted angrily, my treasure, give it back to me. He put it into his storage ring, then placed his sword in front of him and said with a light smile, good children should not play with knives and swords. I will keep it safe for you. She gritted her teeth and cursed, you scoundrel. Infuriated, she rushed forward, clawing like a cat, shouting, give it back to me. Scoundrel, give it back. Wang Yang blocked her with his hand, feeling speechless, thinking, why does Ju Xian act like a child? Could she be under the influence of something? Never mind, let's just capture her first. He grabbed her by the neck and struck her hard, watching her unconscious in Wang Yang's hands, which made the spirit system sigh and say, Host Lord, why are you so ruthless? You don't cherish beauty and jade at all. Wang Yang narrowed his eyes and said, am I being cruel? She's at the 8th grade of the Great Emperor realm, so don't make such sarcastic remarks. Quickly think of a way to tie her up. The spirit system perked up again and continued executing the mission. Congratulations, host, for defeating the ancient commander, you have received a heavenly vine and a tome of holy spiritual principles. Wang Yang looked at the 2 magic weapons and said, the mystic vine is indeed a nice item. But why is this spiritual principles book so mysterious? The system spirit crossed its arms and replied, Host Lord, this system has always made requests that suit you. Wang Yang read a few sentences about fixing and maintaining the doll above the skill book and sulkily said, this damn system, has this type of spiritual principles been tested? She reached out to check it and said, Host Lord, this little matter is nothing, let me handle it. Wang Yang was also satisfied, saying, that's reasonable. Although he seemed a bit shy, Qi Wen Yuan's voice rang out, calling, Mr. Wang Yang, please stop. He cupped his hands, his hair messy, and said, Lady Ju Xian is an important minister of our Xianyu Empire, please do not capture her. I am willing to die in place of Lady Ju Xian. Wang Yang chuckled coldly and said, Your miserable life should help me return and relay a message to the Xianyu Emperor. Tell him I thank him and will present a grand gift on my wedding day. If he dares to come here again, I will definitely destroy the Xianyu Empire. He ignited his fiery rage, darkening his face to threaten him, go back and tell that bastard Xianyu Emperor. In a few days, I will come to annihilate the Xianyu Empire. Tell him to wash his neck and wait for me. Qi Wen Yuan had no choice but to respond, I will pass on the message. Wang Yang carried Ju Xian Lord down, causing Yi Lin Lang to happily call out, Husband, you weren't injured in the battle just now, right? I was worried sick. The national advisor, seeing Yi Lin Lang's concern, chuckled and said, Your Majesty, the national lord just swept through the enemy forces, surely nothing happened. Wang Yang, not showing any mercy, threw Ju Xian Lord down to the ground. Lu Qinyao approached and asked, Supreme Sect Master, who is this? Wang Yang replied, This is the right general of the Xianyu Empire, who became a prisoner because he was defeated by me. Ju Xian sat on the ground, blushing and shouted, You ruffian, let me go. Wang Yang didn't say much, but swiftly covered her mouth. He walked over and said, I have suppressed her cultivation down to the immortal king realm. First, let's find a place to keep an eye on her. A few days later we will handle it. The realm of Ju Xian Lord has dropped from the Great Emperor realm of the 8th stage to the Immortal King realm of the 5th stage. A palace maid approached and bowed, responding, Lord, just leave her to me. He put his arm around Yi Lin Lang, called out, My dear. He picked her up in his arms, pampering her, saying, We should get in the carriage first, we can't delay the auspicious time for the wedding. She blushed, covering her face with the wedding fan, and replied, I will follow the arrangements of my husband. The palace maids all knelt down and said, We bid farewell to your majesty and the lord. On the side of the Spirit Sword Sect, cheerful voices continuously rang out. Lu Master, congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. We didn't expect that your Spirit Sword Sect would have a great power of the Great Emperor realm. Not at all, not at all. Isn't Taigu Pavilion also guarded by a great emperor? The two elders stroked their beards, unable to hide their surprise, said to each other. Usually nobody pays any attention to us, yet Taigu Pavilion even sent people to the banquet. Moreover, even Bai Luhua Sect and Jiuhua Sect have sent people here. The two continued to talk to each other with joy in their hearts. It seems that our Spirit Sword Sect is truly rising, no longer a third-rate sect in Dongzhou as before. With the abilities of the Supreme Sect Master, I believe we can be classified among the top sects. Master Lu turned around angrily and shouted, "What are you two talking about? Hurry up and go serve our esteemed guests, I'm not able to keep up." The two elders were startled and quickly replied, "We obey your orders." The guests inside happily greeted each other and said, "The Spirit Sword Sect is truly fortunate. They can even marry off the Empress of the Great Shing Empire. Could it be that the Supreme Sect Master has some special skills in wooing?" C2, the young master at the table, raised his glass, laughed, and spoke disdainfully, "I want to see what the Supreme Sect Master of the Spirit Sword Sect is like. He must just be a Xiao Bai Jian who only knows how to rely on a rich woman. I'm afraid the Empress is just an ugly woman." Zi Xian stood among the guests, enraged, thinking, "This little brat dares to insult our Spirit Sword Sect?" A hand reached out to stop him, saying, "Zi Xian, stop." Chang Feng raised his hand to hold him back and said, "This person is a strong great emperor realm, from the Jin K Palace, you must not offend him." A notification sounded, "The groom and bride have arrived." Wang Yang and Yi Lin Lang also entered. The beauty of both made the people there unable to stop gossiping. "What is this? Is that stunning beauty the Empress? Damn it, what kind of luck did the Spirit Sword Sect have to marry off such a beauty?" Lu Qinyao frowned, unhappy, thinking, "The Supreme Sect Master and the Empress are a match made in heaven. When will it be your turn to comment on them from head to toe?" The two at the adjacent table were also shocked, thinking, "What? This young lady is the Empress of the Great Shing Empire? What a good deal for that little guy." Young Master C2 showed up as scheduled, blocking the way, and said, "I never expected the Empress of Great Shing to be this beautiful. Why not forget about that Xiao Bai Jian beside you and marry me instead?" Yi Lin Lang coldly glared at him and said, "Today is the day of celebration for me and the state leader. I do not wish to cause trouble. If you know what's good for you, then get lost." He laughed, not knowing when to back down, as he moved closer to her and said, "I only like the roses with thorns. If you follow me, I will help you deal with the Xian Yu Empire. After all, I have the prestigious Jin K Palace behind me." Another individual chimed in, acting as a compassionate bodhisattva, saying, "I tell you, little girl the Empress, why don't you follow C2 young master? After all, he is a distinguished young master known in the Rongzhou Confucian circle, and his father is already a strong supreme in the Yunchuan Holy Land, with significant influence." Unexpectedly, Wang Yang placed a hand on his shoulder and said in a heavy tone, "I don't care if you have Jin K Palace or Yin K Palace backing you, today you will die here." C2 young master showed no fear and contemptuously replied, "A small Spirit Sword Sect dares to speak like that to me? You must not even know how to write the word death. If you have the guts, come out and fight, the winner will be the groom today." Several people gathered around, laughing and saying, "It has been a long time since we have seen a lively wedding like this, interesting, interesting. Come on, let's place a bet. I bet 80,000 spirit stones on C2 young master winning. Then I will bet against you. I bet 60,000 spirit stones on Spirit Sword Sect winning." He looked down on him to the extent that he didn't even take him seriously, thinking, "He's just a third rank in the Great Emperor realm. I'll show you how I kill you shortly." Then he also said, "If you are so eager to die, then I will fulfill your wish." Before long, the two moved outside. C2 young master waved his hand and took out a flute, saying, "A small sect like the Spirit Sword Sect definitely doesn't know the background of the sections. In my hand is the moonlight jade flute, a divine weapon of the holy grade. Wang Yang laughed and said, I didn't expect the Jin K Palace to be so generous, thank you for bringing such a great gift to me. He heard this and was furious, saying, what great gift? Are you blind? This is a divine weapon of my own. Wang Yang smiled faintly and said, a divine weapon of your own. Killing you will be mine then. C2 young master laughed, then blew a tune on the flute in his hand. With the ancient overwhelming power, the dragon cried across the sea. When that flute sound rang out, everyone felt deafened, and some even coughed up blood and shouted, ah, this is a flute that can control divine consciousness. It's unbearable. Hurry, someone come kill me. C2AO on this side was playing the flute, his expression full of confusion as he thought, no, it can't be. With the increase from the moon jade flute, even the supreme cannot remain unaffected. On this side, Wang Yang was still feeling great as he held his sword high, loudly saying, C2AO, what are you playing? Are you preparing someone to take care of you before you die? Saying this, he also struck down with a sword using the technique, Heavenly Transformation 9 Tribulations Sword Technique. At this moment, C2AO finally felt fear and shouted, raising his hand to block Wang Yang's attack. This sword strike directly split the ground and rocks beneath into two halves, fire also flared up and billowed. Those who had been controlled and in pain earlier had now returned to normal. They crawled up and wondered, what happened? This move managed to resolve it. That is the son of Jin K Palace. Here. Wang Yang stepped out from the hazy smoke, his face cold as he warned, today, if anyone wants to disturb again. He lifted C2AO by the head to threaten, then there will be a fatal ending just like him. He stood there boldly holding his sword, intending to confront the few who had been chatting casually a moment ago. The people from before were all too frightened to raise their heads, secretly thinking, wow, this is too crazy. This is young master of Jin K Palace. I thought we were just going to compete for fun and earn a meal, how did it escalate to this? At this moment, Lu Wuyai stepped in to break the awkward atmosphere and said, everyone don't panic, it's just a small matter. The wedding will continue, everyone keep drinking. Lu Wuyai then inwardly cursed the 18 generations of that guy's ancestors and thought, it's all that foolish, childish C2AO's fault. Why provoke our master of all people? After this incident, our spirit sword sect has definitely offended Jin K Palace. The wedding ceremony was resumed. The national master loudly announced, the ceremony begins, the groom and bride step forward. As Wang Yang walked up, he glanced at Yilin Lang, secretly thinking, I never expected that after crossing over, I could get married, and to such a beautiful bride. In this life, I will definitely not let the Empress down. Lu Qinyao shouted, first bow to heaven and earth. Second bow to the ancestors. Just as she was about to say that, she hesitated, feeling embarrassed and thinking, oh no, my parents, my master, and my family are all gone, and the master of the Empress is not here either, I shouldn't say such things. She thought of another phrase and shouted, that, second bow, third bow for husband and wife. Let's go to the bridal chamber. The group of Lu's master burst into laughter at her humorous words. Lu Qinyao, blushing bright red, scolded, what are you all laughing at? Why don't you take charge? Wang Yang gently held her hand and called, wife. He took her hand and said, let's go to the bridal chamber. As night fell, only Yilin Lang and Wang Yang remained in the room. Wang Yang moved closer, sat on the bed, held her hand, and called, my wife. Yilin Lang blushed, not daring to look directly at him, and said, husband, what should we do on our wedding night? The national teacher had already mentioned it. The national teacher gave a thumbs up as if to say leave it to me, and said, Lord of the nation, everything has been arranged. Wang Yang tightened his grip, feeling a lump in his throat, thinking, even this matter is being taken care of, the national teacher truly deserves to be the pillar of the great Shing Empire. Yilin Lang lay on the bed, blushing and calling out, husband, what are you waiting for? At this moment, Wang Yang didn't worry about saving face anymore. He tore his shirt open with his hands, his eyes blazing, and said, my dear wife. He directly took off his clothes, jumped inside, and said, I can't control myself. The spirit system appeared, covering its eyes, saying, oh my, this is too exciting. Wang Yang pulled the curtain closed, which made her angry. She shouted, don't pull the curtain. Isn't this just the beginning? Wang Yang flicked its head, saying, the bridal chamber is not suitable for children. Get out of here. The spirit system, rubbing its now red head, grumbled, what do you mean not suitable for children? I just want to confirm whether the mission is completed or not. Outside at night, Chang Feng was hiding somewhere with a tree. Suddenly, he heard a noise and quickly hid in a nearby bush. He looked around and saw Lu Wuyai, asking in confusion, Master, why are you here? Lu Wuyai raised his hand and said, Shu. Don't speak loudly. The wedding night of Great Emperor Strong is a rare occurrence in 1,000 years. If there is a bit of fate, it will greatly benefit the cultivation breakthrough. Chang Feng sincerely said, so that's how it is. Master truly thinks ahead. Lu Qinyao, carrying a huge hammer, furiously shouted, so you used the excuse of cultivation just to spy on others during their wedding night. As soon as the two saw her, they broke out in a sweat like encountering a fierce tiger, quickly explaining, Junior sister, it's not what you think. Junior sister, let's talk slowly. Lu Qinyao didn't beat around the bush and directly sent each of them flying with a hammer, shouting, get out of here. The two were knocked far away, screaming, don't, leaving her alone in this place. Looking inside, she felt an indescribable sadness, thinking, if I were the one inside, how wonderful it would be. Inside, Yilin Lang gasped for breath while looking at Wang Yang, saying, husband, my realm feels like. A large phoenix spread its wings, with overwhelming power, crying out as it soared in the sky. Lu Qinyao looked up in disbelief and stammered, is this the power of the great emperor's wedding night? She suddenly paused and said, what is this again? In the sky above, there was currently a phoenix and a dragon flying around each other. Inside the room, the two were sitting opposite each other, holding hands in meditation. Yilin Lang said, husband, I didn't expect both our realms to be breaking through. This is all the result of my wife. If it weren't for our recent union to exchange energy, how could I break through so easily? The spirit system outside was still annoyed, laughing and complaining, clearly, the greatest contribution is mine, yet not even a word of thanks. The next morning, very early, many people had gathered at the door. Lu Wuyai frowned as he approached and asked, who on earth has the audacity to knock on the sect's soul bell? Don't you know what the soul bell of the sect signifies? A follower behind him stammered and bowed, replying, Sect. Master, this disciple does not know. Lu Master went inside the hall, bowed and clasped his hands, saying, I pay my respects to the Supreme Sect Master, Her Majesty the Empress. He looked up and stammered, This is all my improper daily education. I don't know who is ringing the soul bell to disturb you and Her Majesty the Empress's rest. Wang Yang chuckled softly and said, you don't need to blame yourself. I was the one ringing the soul bell. Upon hearing this, Master Lu scratched his head, smiled awkwardly, and said, so that's how it is. It was you, old sir, who rang it. I thought it was the disciple who had just joined the sect. He then thought to himself, the soul bell's toll, the sect's existence or demise is just a matter of thought. What exactly is our master up to with that? Wang Yang gently raised his cup of tea and leisurely said, today I rang the soul bell to summon everyone in the sect here. First, to thank everyone for assisting with my marriage. The rewards for you all have been prepared earlier. Lu Wuyai looked at the pile of pills and items next to him and couldn't help but politely say, Supreme Sect Master, you are too courteous. Actually, that is just our duty. Though he said that, saliva was about to drip down to his belly, and his face changed as he thought greedily. Wang Yang said, regarding the second matter, I plan to choose a few potential disciples to directly guide and enhance the strength of our spirit sword sect. Upon hearing this, Lu Wuyai patted his chest and said, Supreme Sect Master, this matter is entirely on my shoulders. No one understands the inner workings of the spirit sword sect better than I do. Yilin Lang blushed and leaned closer, softly saying to Wang Yang, husband, I have broken through to the realm and my cultivation has reached the mid-level of Immortal King. Do you want to give me some more guidance? Wang Yang turned to look at her, smiled gently, and said, Dear wife, tonight when we return to Yuqing Pavilion, I will specifically help you. I will personally teach you and help you break through the realm once more. How does that sound? Yilin Lang was taken aback by this and then realized, saying, How annoying, there are still people around here. Lu Qinyao also felt shy and blushed, thinking, is this something I can listen to? Washing marrow pill, chi fusion pill, and the spirit condensing pill that I need the most to break through the realm. Oh my, our spirit sword sect is about to become rich. The spirit system was speechless. The host lord really has thick skin, can't he just close the door and stop talking? Master Lu then said, Supreme Sect Master, we have gathered all the good seeds from the spirit sword sect for you. Wang Yang had just taken a sip of tea and then spat it all out while looking at the scene before him. He was at a loss for words and told Lu Wuyai, I told you to find good seeds within the sect's jurisdiction, why have you called all the elders here just to inflate the numbers? Lu Wuyai explained, Supreme Sect Master, our spirit sword master has always valued talent. If one has no ability, how can they rise to the position of elder? Hearing this, Wang Yang used his celestial observatory to examine them. The system also announced, displaying talent level, cultivation level, mundane, transcendent, spirit essence, celestial being, immortal, holy body, celestial, Taoist body. Wang Yang's celestial observatory revealed Lu Qinyao's talent as holy body, cultivation at divinity stage peak. The cultivation and talent of those on Lu Wuyai's side are as follows. Talent spirit body, cultivation foundation establishment stage. Talent celestial being, cultivation early divinity stage. Talent celestial being, cultivation mid divinity stage. Talent immortal master, cultivation high foundation establishment stage. Talent celestial being, cultivation peak divinity stage. Talent celestial being, cultivation mid integration stage. The levels of cultivation realms are, refined chi, foundation establishment, golden elixir, yuaning, divinity, integration, great ascension, ascendant, true being, prime king, great emperor, supreme, heavenly Tao, saint. Wang Yang scratched his cheek, looking at their cultivation and talent, he thought to himself, Lu Wuyai without me, with the foundation of the spirit sword sect, having Lu Qinyao with a holy body is already a considerable blessing. Wang Yang raised his teacup, sighed, and said, there really aren't many tactics that can be used, the realm difference is too great, leading the team will be difficult. Yilin Lang laughed and said, my husband, don't be upset. Wait until I return, I will issue a wide edict to seek outstanding disciples to send to the spirit sword sect for cultivation. Wang Yang suddenly stood up, exuding a powerful aura that left Yilin Lang puzzled. Indeed, the great Shing Empire has millions of people, and there must be a chosen one suitable for cultivating immortals. The spirit system presented several skill manuals, saying, the measurement check shows the host is searching for a chosen one, immediately rewarding a great gift of sect skills. Wang Yang picked up the skill manuals to examine them, noting 3 years of yuaning, 5 years of great ascension, how sword immortals accede to the sect, and the cultivation methods of great emperors, as well as supreme self-cultivation. He questioned the system, what is this, what is it? The spirit system waved its hand and pulled out several other skill manuals, saying, Host Lord, I apologize, that was a display error. I have fixed it. Wang Yang took out the skill manuals from the system space and said to the disciples below, this manual on the refinement of the spirit can replace the basic skill of our sect. Moz Xian, you and the senior brothers should study it thoroughly. The elders can cultivate the 9 revolutions mystical art, striving to break through to great ascension and achieve immortality. Moz Xian held the skill book in his hand and happily replied, thank you, Supreme Sect Master. We will definitely train hard and not disappoint your expectations. The other disciples also bowed and said, thank you, Supreme Sect Master. Lu Wuyai, along with Chang Feng and an elder, fought over the skill book, arguing loudly. This skill is extremely domineering. If you can't handle it, let me study it first. Senior brother, I've always given way to you before, this time it must be my turn. My lifespan is running out, so it has to be me first. Lu Qinyao looked at them with exasperation and reminded, can you be a little mindful of your dignity? The Supreme Sect Master is still watching. A skill book flew toward Lu Qinyao, surprising her. She asked, is this secret technique for me? Wang Yang replied, Qinyao, if you fully understand this divine maiden celestial flow technique, your future cultivation will definitely not be inferior to anyone at the supreme level. The spirit system glanced over, calling out to the host with a sly look, you really have an eye for this. The divine maiden celestial flow technique is the most suitable skill for training a female holy body. Wang Yang smiled gently and said, of course. Lu Qinyao was startled and immediately knelt down, bowing her head and saying, what? Not inferior to the supreme level, thank you, Supreme Sect Master. She thought to herself, the Master truly cares for me, granting me a skill that can lead me to the supreme realm. Yi Lin Lang looked at Wang Yang and blushed, wondering, I wonder if I can be considered a part of the Spirit Sword Sect now. Wang Yang unexpectedly handed Yi Lin Lang a skill book, leaving her dazed. She looked at him and asked, Harmonious Union, my husband, what is this? Wang Yang replied, now everyone has gifts, how can I miss out on my wife's portion? This Harmony Union skill book was created by the Saint Ancient, and I think it suits us perfectly. Yi Lin Lang focused on the skill book and exclaimed, let me see how this spiritual principle is truly amazing. She suddenly said, this, and then blushed, her head even steaming. She tugged at the corner of Wang Yang's robe and whispered, if this Harmony Union skill is truly amazing, would you like to try it with me tonight, my husband? Wang Yang, of course, did not refuse and said, since you have spoken like this, I will accompany you until the end. Yi Lin Lang leaned against her brother and playfully replied, that's great, I didn't expect that I would also receive a gift. At Jin K Palace, a girl walked in and shouted, C2 Xiao Cheng, come out here. A subordinate came out, bowed, and replied, Ming Hui Master, before going into seclusion, the Master said that no matter what happens, we must not disturb him. Ming Hui Master was still angry and pointed to shout, C2 Xiao Cheng, you are a scoundrel. Your son was killed and you just sit there. The man, scared, waved his hand and responded, Master, please don't be angry. I understand your pain of losing a child, but the Master is no different from us. The Master is in a critical stage of breaking through his realm. If anything goes wrong, our entire Jin K Palace will be finished. Ming Hui Master gritted her teeth and said, fine. If you in Jin K Palace are so ruthless, then I will personally go and take revenge for my son. After saying that, she flew away. Ming Hui Nun flew back and forth, thinking, that old devil C2 is heartless and unjust. I have no choice but to seek his help. At the Spirit Sword Sect, several terrifying sword chi emanated from within, causing the disciples outside to gasp in fear. Inside, Wang Yang was holding Lu Qinyao's hand, instructing her, that's wrong, it should be like this. Suddenly, a loud noise came from outside, as if someone was intentionally trying to break the great formation. A disdainful voice echoed from outside, truly a pair of shameless women from the Spirit Sword Sect, get out here so I can deal with you. Wang Yang frowned and looked outside, thinking, the sect's great formation is under attack. Yi Lin Lang came in from outside, calling, husband, the person approaching has ill intentions, I'm afraid. Wang Yang raised his hand to protect her behind him, saying, don't be afraid, my dear. On the contrary, I want to see who has the guts to do this. Lu Qinyao angrily said, who dares to come to the Spirit Sword Sect and act so arrogantly? Supreme Sect Master, let me go out and crush those foul-mouthed pests. Wang Yang strode out boldly, saying, the one coming has bad intentions, you take good care of his majesty. I will be back shortly. Outside the grand formation, an old man was trying to break through it. Mistress Ming Hui stood behind him, arms crossed in irritation, saying, it's just a small sex formation, and you can't solve it? What use are you? He gritted his teeth, trying to form seals again, and said, a small spirit sword sect has a grand formation that's difficult to deal with, it certainly doesn't look like a low-tier sect. At this moment, Wang Yang had also come outside and kindly reminded them, if you are not at the supreme realm, you shouldn't waste your energy. He waved his hand dismissively and asked, "Where did this little guy come from? Be careful, or I'll wipe out both you and the Spirit Sword Sect." Wang Yang laughed at the old man's words and replied, "I don't need to change my name, I'm the Supreme Sect Master of the Spirit Sword Sect, Wang Yang." Mistress Ming Hui was infuriated upon hearing this and wanted to charge forward with her sword, shouting, "So you are that damn Wang Yang? Come back and pay for my son's life." Cohort Tian Quan stopped her, saying, "Cousin, don't be so quick to anger, let me handle this." Wang Yang giggled and pointed, asking, "You are a nun, he is a Taoist priest, the father of C2AO, master of Jin K Palace, right? Is this scholar bullying the old Taoist priest? Your relationships are really tangled to the point of being shocking." The old man shouted loudly, "Shut your mouth, you little guy with milk breath. Today, I, Tian Quan the Recluse, will definitely tear you apart into 100 pieces." Wang Yang mocked him upon hearing his name, Tian Quan the Recluse. "I see you more like a dog-licking recluse." Unable to match him in retorts, he said, You shall die." Then he unleashed the bitch Ba Huin on sword and Tian Zeng sword flow. Wang Yang paid him no mind and lightly raised his hand to create the heaven-earth heavenly stem technique, 5 elements returning to origin, forming a barrier that blocked Tian Quan the Recluse's attack. He looked at Wang Yang's barrier continuously devouring his sword technique in shock, thinking, "How can this be? How can he silently absorb all my sword attacks? Has this little guy already reached the supreme realm?" Wang Yang did not have the mindset to make a big deal out of it. He waved his hand to calm things down and said, "I can understand the feelings of both of you, so why not let this matter come to an end here?" Tian Quan the Recluse glanced back with a hint of hesitation and said, "Cousin, why don't we?" Ming Hui the abbess remained furious and shouted at him, "Shut up. You are an ungrateful wretch, your death is my son's doing." She pointed at Wang Yang and boldly stated, "Today, I not only want to kill all of you from the Spirit Sword Sect but also destroy that vile woman Yilin Lang, forcing my son to marry a useless wife." As soon as Wang Yang heard this, an evil energy immediately surged forth, and he wore a serious expression. The spirit system excitedly appeared, saying, it's here, the host's evil energy has appeared again." Wang Yang raised his hand high to draw his sword and said solemnly, "In the past, I thought the idea of wiping out the roots in novels was just talk, but today it seems truly necessary." Tian Quan the Recluse spoke in a somewhat panicked tone, You, little guy, what do you want to do?" Wang Yang sneered and said, "What do I want to do? Naturally, I want to send all of you down to join C2AO. A family should be united." The spirit system announced. The measurement control system detected that the host lord wishes to help people reunite with their homes, instantly rewarding the skill of the holy artifact, the 3-soul body movement. The spirit system called again, "Host lord, there's a reward, why don't you take a look?" Wang Yang swung his sword down forcefully, saying, "Wait until I finish off this annoying nun before we talk." The Tian Quan Recluse, frightened, immediately formed a seal and took out a defensive technique, the Heaven's Fate Sheep Calamity Sword Real Shadow. The Heaven's Fate 9 Calamity Sword, Tian Xian Wei Shing of Wang Yang, fiercely charged forward and struck his technique. The Tian Quan Recluse immediately spat blood while gritting his teeth and frowning. Ming Hui the nun flew behind him, furious to the point of madness, shouting, "After all these years, you really haven't made any progress, you can't even defeat a little guy." The Tian Quan Recluse clutched his chest, forcing himself to say, "Cousin, if you want to kill this person, we might need to rely on our combined sword duo." Thus, Ming Hui the nun merged with him and unleashed the grand move, Water and Fire Unfeeling Sword Duo. 2 people attacked, catching Wang Yang by surprise, prompting him to raise his sword to block the blows. He cursed them inwardly, truly despicable, there's still such a dirty sword technique like this. The spirit system flew in and called out, "Host Lord, why not use the new skill to deal with them?" Wang Yang immediately used the new technique, his eyes filled with lengthy skill sequences, reading, 3-soul divinity spell, isn't this just the transformation of spirit into 3 forms? The spirit system responded, not far off. Since they've used the dual sword technique, then you can also use the righteous 3 against 2. Wang Yang stroked his chin and smirked. Ming Hui the nun and Tian Quan the scholar suddenly halted as they thrust their swords. Wang Yang's figures flickered in and out, darting around the two. Tian Quan turned in confusion. What kind of evil sect skill is this? Ming Hui asserted, this must be an optical illusion technique. There's only one real body, what's there to fear? Wang Yang, expressing interest, swung his sword toward them. Both of his clones consecutively unleashed sharp sword chi strikes. Both Tian Quan the recluse and his companion gritted their teeth and raised their swords to block the sharp moves. Tian Quan gritted his teeth, his brows furrowed as he tried to fend off the attacks. This sword move is so powerful, could he really be at the supreme realm? Ming Hui the elder still couldn't hold up against a move from Wang Yang and was struck down, falling backward and crying out. Seeing her fall to the ground, blood spilling from her mouth, Tian Quan rushed over, raising his hand and calling out, cousin. He caught Ming Hui while negotiating with Wang Yang, Daoist friend, your lord has a generous heart, could you spare my cousin's life in exchange for mine? Ming Hui, still defiant, shouted back at him to be quiet. Even if I become a ghost, I won't let this beast get away. Wang Yang had no good intentions. He glared at both of them and said, sorry, but today I'm not in a good mood, and you both must die. Tian Quan gritted his teeth and stammered, you, don't push us too far. If that's the case, I'll fight you to the death today. As he spoke, he charged forward recklessly, I'll drag you down to hell with me. The spirit system was flying to one side, calling out, host, be careful. Wang Yang's expression remained emotionless as he said, is this feeling the suicidal intent of that sycophant? The Taoist priest Tian Quan rushed in front of Wang Yang and shouted loudly, little sister, hurry and run. At this point, Master Ming Hui still showed no signs of regret as she took out a talisman, thinking, if I had known earlier, I wouldn't have sought this useless person as a shield. A loud explosion erupted in the sky. Seeing the Taoist priest Tian Quan explode from within, Master Ming Hui thought again, I should go look for C2 Xiaocheng for help. At least that heartless fellow is a realm supreme. Something fell straight onto her head. Looking at the floating squares in front of her like a chessboard, she felt confused and said, what kind of secret technique is this? Wang Yang wore a victorious smile, holding a chess piece in his hand, the path of change transcends the ultimate realm. He chuckled lightly and said, I told you all that no one would escape today. She opened her eyes wide to look up but did not realize that another Wang Yang had appeared from behind, raising his sword high. After that, Wang Yang decisively swung his sword down. She was struck by this blow and opened her eyes wide, unable to believe it. Slowly, she began to fade away, grinding her teeth and saying, kill me, the Buddhist sect will not spare you. Just wait to go to hell. She let out a cry, and then completely vanished. Wang Yang remained unshaken and cold-faced, saying, anyway, I've already offended both Confucians and Taoists, so what's one more sect? The spirit system happily said, Host Lord is truly impressive, daring to face Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, and the three teachings all on your own. Upon hearing this, Wang Yang turned and grabbed its collar, shaking it, saying, let me ask you, is all of this part of your plan? The spirit system spun its head around, saying, no way. How could this system possibly scheme against you? Moreover, hasn't this system always been dedicated to supporting the host lord? Wang Yang sheathed his sword and replied, then that's good, let's go home. Lin Lang might be worried by now. Having resolved the matter, Wang Yang descended below. Yi Lin Lang and Lu Qinyao walked over anxiously. Yi Lin Lang called out, husband, are you alright? What just happened was really scary. Lu Qinyao looked at Wang Yang's earlier display and admired him even more, thinking, the Supreme Sect Master is truly amazing, he was able to defeat those unreasonable invaders. Wang Yang, as if nothing had happened, replied, those troubles were resolved without any effort, it's nothing significant. At the same time, Lu Wuyai approached and clasped his fists, saying, Supreme Sect Master, who exactly is this invader? Wang Yang responded, it's the one who caused trouble yesterday, C2AO and his mother, along with a flatterer known as Tian Quan the scholar. As soon as Lu Wuyai heard this, he quickly asked, what? Is it that person Quan Ying you, Tian Quan the scholar? What should we do now? Wang Yang, unable to understand, scratched his chin and asked, Kuan Yin Yu? Which sect is that? Lu Wuyai's expression turned tense as he explained to Wang Yang, Kuan Yin Yu is a group of 4 like-minded individuals who dual cultivate elegantly. They are quite famous in the Rongzhou scholarly circles. Wang Yang squinted his eyes, still not taking the issue seriously, and said, It sounds like a gathering of elderly people, there's no threat at all. Lu Wuyai looked at him in surprise and said, This, then thought to himself, the Supreme Sect Master may be deep and unfathomable, and certainly the others in Kuan Yin Yu wouldn't dare to cause trouble with our Spirit Sword Sect. Wang Yang waved his hand, reassuring everyone, don't worry too much. Just focus on practicing the secret manual spiritual principles that I have given you. Lu Wuyai still felt anxious and clasped his fists, saying, Well, we are all diligently cultivating, but our Spirit Sword Sect is not a major sect, and the spiritual energy here is sadly sparse. Even if we train hard every day, it is difficult to achieve a breakthrough. Wang Yang crossed his arms and said, You have a point. How about we find a major sect to take action and directly seize their blessed lands? Lu Wuyai immediately replied, No. Absolutely do not do that, Supreme Sect Master. This sect war cannot happen. Just a moment would provoke the Holy Lands to intervene. Wang Yang, half-closed eyes, looked through the spirit system and deliberately said to it, The sect war is truly troublesome, the thing I fear the most is getting entangled in karma. If it doesn't come to an end, it will be exhausting. If there were another way, how great that would be. The spirit system immediately raised its hand, calling, Host Lord, what's so difficult? Just let this system take care of it. At that moment, the system announced, detected that the host intends to develop the sect vigorously. The system rewards the host with a large immortal talisman stone. Wang Yang held a huge, mysterious immortal talisman stone in his hand and asked, What does this immortal talisman stone do? The system replied, Just place the immortal talisman stone deep within the sect's spiritual mine, and it will elevate the level of the spiritual mine, generating denser spiritual energy. Seeing Wang Yang holding the immortal talisman stone, Lu Wuyai asked, Supreme Sect Master, what kind of treasure is this? Upon hearing the question, Wang Yang said, This is the immortal talisman stone, which can enhance the quality of the Spirit Sword Sect's spiritual mine. Upon hearing this, Elder Bai Fong was shocked and broke into a sweat, asking in disbelief, What? The legendary immortal talisman stone? Even the great sects with long-standing inheritance do not possess such treasures. Wang Yang jumped high, refining the purple jade talisman, and then directly punched the stone into the ground. Bai Fong Elder panicked and exclaimed, Oh my! Supreme Sect Master, what are you trying to do? The purple jade talisman quickly sank deep into the ground, and spiritual energy spread throughout the area, becoming denser and denser. Yi Lin Lang gasped, looking at the stirring spiritual energy before her, and said, Husband, you are truly powerful, the spiritual energy around us has indeed become dense. Lu Qinyao couldn't believe it, thinking, It's hard to believe that the Supreme Sect Master can transform the spiritual mind. Lu Wuyai quickly turned his head and waved his hand, shouting at the disciples, What are you standing there for? Sit down and start cultivating. Bai Fong Elder also urged, Hurry up, take advantage of this wonderful opportunity to cultivate and break through. The disciples immediately complied and sat down to cultivate together. A few of them managed to easily absorb and break through during their cultivation, joyfully saying, I have succeeded in reaching foundation establishment. I have broken through foundation establishment. I have refined a golden elixir. Yi Lin Lang approached, waved at Wang Yang, and called out, My husband, with such dense spiritual energy, why aren't you cultivating? Wang Yang looked at her and started teasing. The cultivation in this heavenly realm is too slow, dual cultivating would be faster. Yi Lin Lang said this, and blushed, scolding him. It's not even evening yet. Hurry and stop. Lu Qinyao, standing nearby, also blushed and thought, I also want to dual cultivate with the Supreme Sect Master. Early the next morning, Wang Yang woke up, stretched, and yawned. Last night's dual cultivation was so intense that I could barely get up. Wang Yang got out of bed, walked over, and placed his hand on Lin Lang's shoulder as she sat at her vanity, asking, "Lin Lang, why are you up so early?" Lin Lang squinted and said, "Today is the day to go back to my parental home, did you forget about this?" Wang Yang felt embarrassed, laughed awkwardly, and quickly made amends. "You said we're going back home, right? How could I forget?" She walked over, gently grabbed Wang Yang's collar, and said to him, "Not long ago, I just defeated 6 nations, the great Shing Empire is still unstable, and I need to return to take charge. Moreover, in the past few days, the official affairs have accumulated quite a lot and need to be addressed." Wang Yang raised his hand, obediently following the command, and replied, "Then let my wife take care of everything." Wang Yang waved his hand, checked his merit points, and heard the announcement, "Great Emperor Realm Level 6, Merit Dharma Body 2nd Level." Wang Yang wondered to himself, why is this happening? Why has my Merit Dharma Body lost so much? The spirit system appeared and explained blankly, "Dear host lord, you have gone through several battles, so it's quite normal for merit points to be consumed. To restore or enhance the level of the Merit Dharma Body, you can only go and collect more merit." Wang Yang narrowed his eyes and said, "There's also a consumption factor. This mechanism is really unreasonable." The spirit system continued, "If the Merit Dharma Body reaches the Emperor status, then it won't be so troublesome anymore." Wang Yang thought helplessly, "It seems I need to create a big incident in the Great Qing Empire to earn more merit." As for Emperor Xianyu, he was currently kneeling below, clasping his hands and saying, "Soa Tianshan pays respects to the old ancestor." He said that he also had his own selfish motives and speculated, what are these old ancestors who haven't died planning to do? The old ancestor spoke up, "Last time when we went to the Great Qing Empire, why didn't you command the battle and let Lin Lang's body be taken over like that?" Xianyu hesitated and said, This is all Tianshan's fault, please old ancestor punish me." The old ancestor stood up, slowly walked down, and said, "Punish you? I am not Tan Shu Gong, I do not have the authority to punish you. He has already said that although we cannot obtain Lin Lang's body, we still need to capture her to be used as a supporting medicinal resource for cultivation." Xianyu hesitated and said, "Old ancestor, the Great Qing Empire has strong support in battle, it may not be easy to conquer." The old ancestor replied, "This time I will also take action myself. I do not believe that a not very famous sect like Spirit Sword Sect can completely protect the Great Qing Empire." Xianyu's face was stiff, but he still complied and responded, "With the old ancestor taking action, the Great Qing Empire and Spirit Sword Sect will definitely be crushed." The old ancestor said, "Stop dilly-dallying here, quickly go and organize the cavalry, set off immediately." Emperor Xianyu stepped out with a stern face, looking at the sky, unable to hide his disdain. Old and still greedy for beauty, having deceived the 2 national generals and 4 generals of the empire, causing them to lose a total of 1,200 taels. "Now, I have to personally lead the expedition, where can I find someone? It seems I can only go plead with that guy." The crowd of citizens gathered on the street was incredibly large. One person, not understanding what was happening, asked, "What is going on? Why are so many people gathered there? What? You don't know that Her Majesty the Empress and the King have returned home?" Wang Yang and Lin Lang were parading on the grand procession. The citizens below immediately bowed their heads, collectively shouting loudly, "Long live the Emperor, 10,000 years, long live the ruler, 10,000 years." System notification, the host lord has received the respect of the people, gaining a significant number of virtue points. The spirit system flying beside Wang Yang said, "Those strong enough to reach the great emperor realm have lifespans of hundreds of thousands of years, how could they only be a few thousand?" Wang Yang raised his hand to greet the people below while speaking to the system. Ordinary people spend their entire lives busy making a living, how could they know many secrets of the cultivating immortals world? Upon returning to the Great Qing Empire, the national master approached and said, "Your Majesty, you have finally returned. There are many matters awaiting your decision." Hearing this, Lin Lang also stated, "That's right, the country cannot go without a king for even a day. The situation at the borders is very urgent, we cannot delay any longer." Everyone knelt down and said in unison, "May our emperor live for 10,000 years, 10,000 years." long live the sovereign. Yi Lin Lang waved her hand and said loudly, "Lords, please rise." Yi Lin Lang did not waste any time and immediately got to work. She sat there continuously reviewing memorials. The flood disaster in the southern district requires immediate dispatch of relief efforts. It cannot be postponed even for a moment. The eunuch beside her responded, "I obey your command." Wang Yang, sitting beside her and wanting to doze off, thought to himself, "This is so dull, I wonder when this court session will end. I really still dislike going to work." After a while, Yi Lin Lang stood up and said, "All right, today's court session ends here. Dismissed." Wang Yang stood aside, secretly rejoicing, "Finally the tide has receded, long live the tide, long live the end of work, long live my beloved Empress." Wang Yang went outside, and the flying system called out, "Host Lord, where are you going?" Wang Yang replied, "I have an appointment with the national teacher, going to the heavenly prison to see the minister Zhu Xian who was captured last time." He thought to himself, "If I could recruit that great emperor realm Zhu Xian, I would have an additional helper." Arriving at the prison, the national teacher came out and bowed, "I pay my respects to the Lord." Wang Yang said, "No need for formalities." Wang Yang went inside, looked around, and said, "So this is the heavenly prison, it doesn't feel too far from the royal palace." The national teacher also said, "The heavenly prison holds many serious offenders, if anything happens, only His Majesty can suppress them." As soon as the prisoners inside saw someone come in, they all shouted, "Someone has come, I heard it, and it's a girl, let me out, I've been wronged." Wang Yang glanced at the small system, nervously covering its ears while chuckling, and asked, "These mortals are all locked up, what's so scary about this?" The spirit system, though trembling with fear, still retorted, "This system is not afraid at all, just afraid of the dark." The man inside the cell looked out and called to Wang Yang, "Hey, little brother, come over here so I can take good care of you." Wang Yang glared at him, "Are you trying to show off?" After that, all that remained was the screaming of that man. The national master spoke up, "Lord National Sovereign, we have arrived, room number 1, Heavenly Self." So she was imprisoned here. If it weren't for Lord National Sovereign using a magic weapon to suppress her realm, this prison wouldn't even be able to hold her. The national master paused and reminded Wang Yang, "Lord National Sovereign, Marshal General Zhu Xian is not simple, you need to be cautious." Wang Yang replied, "It's fine, I can handle it, National Master, you can go about your business." The spirit system hid behind Wang Yang, watching Zhu Xian. She was currently bound, sitting on the ground. Wang Yang immediately approached and examined Zhu Xian sitting still on the floor. "Let's check, she's still breathing." Pinch to check, there's still a temperature. Wang Yang extends his hand and says, "Feel it, there's still a heartbeat." Suddenly, Zhu Xian opens her eyes. As soon as she wakes up, she immediately starts shouting at full volume, "Let me go, you scoundrel. Just wait until I get free, and then I'll kill you." Wang Yang chuckles lightly, thinking to himself, "This fierce beauty, Zhu Xian, is indeed a stunning woman, too bad she's been led astray by others." The spirit system offers a suggestion, saying, "Host, although she's using all these vulgar words, you can completely retrain her." Wang Yang strokes his chin and says, "Retraining her, that's a good idea." He waves his hand to take out a skill book called Heavenly Spirit Demon Technique. He looks at it and thinks, this must be the renamed finished product of the spiritual principles. Zhu Xian keeps talking incessantly. Wang Yang ignores her, stroking his chin, and says, "Spirit control, seal makes the master, seal follows the will. When the seal disappears, the soul scatters, divine soul dissipates." According to this secret book, to gain control over Zhu Xian, one must first destroy the initial seal. Wang Yang used the celestial divination to look at Zhu Xian and said, "Let me see where the control seal of the spirit beast is hidden." As soon as he looked, he found it, indeed skilled, so it was hidden here. At this moment, Zhu Xian Lord finally realized fear and cried out, "What do you want to do, hick hick, let me go." Wang Yang lifted her chin and reassured her, "Don't worry, soon enough, you will obediently listen to me." Saying this, Wang Yang stuffed 2 fingers into her mouth. Zhu Xian Lord's eyes suddenly widened. A painful gasp escaped. A girl, her whole body injured and tied up. She looked up, her face showing a hint of curiosity. Who on earth has tampered with my seal? Truly makes one curious. Xian Yu Emperor's voice came from outside, calling her Yun Mingyang. He stood there, asking her, how do you feel in the heavenly prison? Is it comfortable? Yun Mingyang exclaimed, smiling, is this not the Xian Yu Emperor, revered by the people? Why have you come down to the heavenly prison today? Yun Mingyang laughed heartily and said, you think I can believe the words of a traitor like you? Even a sow knows how to climb a tree by now. If it weren't for the regret over that ancient spirit, I would have killed you long ago. Emperor Xian Yu remained cold-eyed, tightening his grip, causing Yun Mingyang to cry out in pain, no, no, stop, I beg you, please stop. Emperor Xian Yu released his grip and asked, can we have a proper conversation now? Zhu Xian has been taken from me, if you help me kill that bastard, I will grant you your freedom. Yun Mingyang scoffed, do you think I can refuse? Hearing this, Emperor Xian Yu walked away. Yun Mingyang huffed and sighed, that stupid Sua Tianshan doesn't even have 1/10 of his father's cunning. Once I get out, I'll definitely make you regret it. Meanwhile, Wang Yang was sitting beside Zhu Xian, pulling his hair in distress. It's over, it seems we've played too much. Although the initial seal has been destroyed, there's nothing more I can do. The spirit system suggested to him, dear host, there are many ways to control the spiritual beast, so why must we rigidly stick to the old methods? Wang Yang responded with a thoughtful, and said, that makes sense, let me take a look. He pointed to a page in a book and said, I think this talisman looks quite promising. He immediately put it into practice. He raised his hand, looked at Zhu Xian with a mischievous expression, and said, there will probably be quite a commotion, bear with it for a bit. A powerful light column of pale pink shot straight up into the sky. Those outside were astonished and began to panic, asking, what in the world is happening? This is terrifying. Yi Lin Lang also noticed and said, it seems to be coming from the direction of the heavenly prison. Is there a problem? Seeing Zhu Xian tied up above, Wang Yang questioned, system, does this mean it was successful? The system confidently assured him, the sound just now was so loud, it surely can't fail. Zhu Xian gradually opened her eyes and asked, where is this? She vaguely looked at Wang Yang, wondering, who am I? Are you my master? Wang Yang chuckled and said, master, huh? So it was successful. This pink talisman is truly magical. The system smiled and chimed in, congratulations, host lord, on successfully binding the ancient spirit beast. Immediately, I grant you 3 imperial-grade spirit essence enlightenment pills. The system also displayed the spirit essence enlightenment pills, with imperial-grade quality. Their effect, when given to a pet or spirit creature, can activate its intelligence and elevate its realm. Wang Yang held the 3 pills in his hand and praised, activating intelligence and elevating realm, this effect is amazing, I have to try it right away. Saying that, he placed 1 pill into Zhu Xian's mouth. As soon as she swallowed it, Zhu Xian's body changed. Her face turned red, and she said, Master, I feel a bit uncomfortable. Her realm also advanced from Great Emperor Realm 8th grade to Great Emperor Realm 9th grade. Wang Yang stroked his chin, assessing, this enlightenment pill is indeed effective, not needing any retraining, she automatically calls me master. The name Zhu Xian doesn't sound good, from now on, I will call you Wu Xianji. Wang Yang raised his hand and recited, heaven and earth are boundless, the command of the universe, imprisoning the immortal, release. Zhu Xian was then released. She had just been dropped and immediately lost her gravity, falling into Wang Yang's arms. Wang Yang felt a bit awkward and said, wait, Xianji, you. The spirit system flew by, not helping at all, but rather eagerly anticipating the drama, covering its mouth and laughing, hee, there's going to be some fun to watch. Zhu Xian whispered into Wang Yang's ear, calling, Master, finally Xianji can get closer to you, what's wrong with you? Wang Yang ignored her question and said, wait, Xianji, what step exactly went wrong? Wang Yang held up the book of spiritual principles and quickly read it again. The charm seal, once engraved, the spirit will become extremely active, and it can only be engraved again after 100 years. After reading it, Wang Yang was shocked. What kind of setup is this? Zhu Xian blushed as she sat on Wang Yang, softly calling, Master, my whole body feels very uncomfortable right now, can you help me? Wang Yang struggled, cursing, this trash system, did you cause this? The spirit system shrugged indifferently and said, Host Lord, don't talk nonsense. This spirit charm seal is precisely what you chose. Yi Lin Lang rushed in with the national master, pushed the door open, and called out loudly, Husband, are you okay? The scene of one above and one below accidentally caught her eye. Yi Lin Lang's face darkened as she called out, Husband, what are you doing? Wang Yang quickly pushed Zhu Xian away, flustered as he said, Wife, this is a misunderstanding. Let me explain. After a moment, Yi Lin Lang understood everything and said, I know I was busy with state affairs just now and didn't pay attention to your feelings. This is my fault, but if you truly want it, I can arrange for someone to serve you. But why did you go looking for divine courage? Wang Yang was again surprised that Yi Lin Lang understood it this way and helplessly said, My lady, listen to me, it's not like that. The national master on the side cupped his fists and bowed, saying, Your Majesty, this matter is all my fault for not discovering it. If I had known, I would have brought the national lord to my place already. Wang Yang could no longer take it and shouted, National master, at this point, please stop making a scene. Zhu Xian appeared from behind, innocently poking Wang Yang on the head, saying, Master, calm down, calm down. Wang Yang crossed his arms, looking utterly speechless as he recounted, Actually, I went to the heavenly prison to train Zhu Xian to become our combat strength. I didn't expect a little mishap to occur. Yi Lin Lang, upon hearing this, was moved to tears and replied, I was indeed too hasty earlier. I didn't expect my husband to sacrifice so much for the great Shing Empire. Wang Yang sighed and said, All right, if you say so, then it is. The national teacher, standing behind, looked at Zhu Xian and said, It is indeed strange, this Wu Xianji is exactly like a real person. Only her intelligence seems to be somewhat lacking, and her emotions are not very stable. Upon hearing the national teacher's words, Wang Yang thought to himself, the pill's spirit essence takes time to recover. I need to wait a bit longer before she can use it again. And there are 2 more white pieces left. Let's see if they have any effect. Having thought that, Wang Yang snapped his fingers and took out a white piece, flicking it towards Zhu Xian, which startled her. Surrounding Zhu Xian, a blazing fire erupted, causing her to exclaim, Master, what is happening to me? Wang Yang smiled lightly and said, Xianji, you make me feel a bit pressured like this. Hearing this, Zhu Xian immediately replied, Master, I'm sorry. Suddenly, there was disturbance in the National Protection Array outside. The Grand Master furrowed his brows and said, This is the National Protection Formation being attacked. Yi Lin Lang wearily said, The great Shing Empire is indeed not at peace. 2 more powerful enemies are attacking. Wang Yang frowned, feeling that something was off. No, there are 3 people, and their cultivation is not below high-tier Great Emperor realm. Yi Lin Lang appeared surprised and asked, What? 3 enemies of high-tier Great Emperor realm are attacking? Wang Yang took out a spear and called, Xianji, hold on to your holy spear tightly. Zhu Xian happily replied, Thank you, Master. The 3 of them, Wang Yang, Yi Lin Lang, and Zhu Xian, all went outside. Wang Yang spoke, Grand Master, your realm is not enough, stay in the palace. My wife, let's go teach these ignorant ones a lesson. Yi Lin Lang responded, All right, my husband. The Grand Master obeyed and stayed inside the hall, bowing, I wish your Majesty and the National Lord a spring dragon in martial fortune, returning in victory. All 3 people step outside. Wang Yang speaks first. These are all unfamiliar faces. Don't you know that the great Shing Empire is currently under my protection? Suo Tian Shen, leading Yunmin Yang and an old ancestor, responds, I don't care about your background. Hand over Yi Lin Lang, and perhaps I'll consider sparing your worthless life. Wang Yang doesn't say much to him and directly summons his sword, sneering. So it turns out to be the Xianyue Emperor Suo Tianshen. Coming to the great Shing Empire and daring to call yourself, I see you are just a fake emperor. Your 2 generals and 4 of your best have been defeated by me. Today it's your turn to die. Suo Tianshen barks. Shut up. Then gritting his teeth he says, you. Yunmin Yang strokes her chin, clicks her tongue, and says, Wang Yang little brother is not only handsome but also domineering. I really like him. She then suddenly stops, eyes wide, and lets out a pained groan. Suo Tianshen, stop it. Suo Tianshen holds something in his hand and shouts at her. Wretched woman. I didn't bring you out for you to entice men. In a moment, you'll go kill that Wang Yang. If not, you won't have an easy time today. Wang Yang noticed the jade pendant that Suo Tianshen was holding and asked the spirit system, what mystery does his jade pendant hold? How can it control someone at the peak of the great emperor realm? The system replied, it must be a skill like soul manipulation. This type of skill is quite common in the world of cultivation. Yunmin Yang flaunted herself, pretending to be seductive, and sweetly called out, little Gidge, you just saw that. I couldn't help it. When you make your move later, please be gentle. Yi Lin Lang immediately became jealous, glaring angrily, wretched woman. Where did this vixen come from? Truly shameless. Stay away from my husband. Otherwise, I will tear you into 1,000 pieces. Yunmin Yang laughed with glee, covering her mouth, and said, Lin Lang Jr. sister, why be so agitated? I will be gentle when I make my move. I absolutely won't let your husband get hurt at all. The old ancestor could no longer hold back and impatiently summoned his skills, shouting, what are you doing here at this time? Quickly capture the Empress and bring her back so I can refine her into a cauldron. He swung a palm with his enormous hand, unleashing the abyss-subduing shadow palm technique. Zhu Xin rushed from behind, using the determined primal strike technique to block, saying, you are the greatest threat, don't come near my master. Yunmin Yang flew in from behind, throwing the piece of cloth in her hand, and called out, little Gidge, what are you looking at? Your opponent is me. Wang Yang dashed to shield Yi Lin Lang, but his sword was tightly restrained by her piece of cloth. Yunmin Yang laughed and said, got you. Wang Yang was pulled towards her, feeling confused and thinking, why can't these pieces of cloth be cut? And what are these flower petals? Yunmin Yang looked at him alluringly and said, come here, little Gidge, let's enter our own world. Wang Yang was led by Yunmin Yang into a space and vanished before many gazes. Zhu Xin and Yi Lin Lang looked back in confusion, calling out, husband. In some space, cherry blossom petals continued to swirl endlessly in the air. Wang Yang raised his sword in defense, feeling perplexed and thinking, these petals have something strange about them. He looked ahead, wondering, is this a formation or a space? Yunmin Yang appeared at that moment, landing and saying, I didn't expect little Gidge to be so calm. You are truly handsome to the point that it makes my heart flutter. I really want to turn you into a obedient puppet. Wang Yang held his sword behind him, disregarding her words, saying, you want to turn me into a puppet? No one in this vast world can do that. He then thought to himself, what kind of formation is this? I need to quickly find out if there is a formation. Yunmin Yang blushed and asked him, what's wrong? Does Wang Yang little brother not like this place? This is a special area I prepared just for you. Her eyes gleamed red, and she waved her hand to create more petals, saying, now that you are here, don't think about leaving. I am the master of this space, and I can easily erase everything. Wang Yang tightened his grip on the sword and asked back, you can easily erase everything? He said coldly, not necessarily. Then, he unleashed the heavenly interpretation 9 epic sword technique, slashing towards Yunmin Yang. As the sword struck, Yunmin Yang clenched her teeth and frowned. Again using the technique Van Lang Huin Thuan. The cherry blossom petals surrounded her, blocking Wang Yang's attack. The two techniques collided, creating an explosion. At this moment, Yunmin Yang's attitude was somewhat tense, her voice hurried as she shouted, now that you are here, don't think about getting out. I am the master of this dimension, and I can easily erase everything. Wang Yang looked at her, giving a faint smile as he said, "Is there a possibility that I might be stronger than those with Supreme Realm?" He then thought, "It seems that the path of my own nature helps me dispel this influence." The spirit system had to remind him, "Host Lord, be gentle. Although this dimension is just a fragment of space, if it is completely destroyed, we will drift in that endless void." Wang Yang opened his mouth in disbelief, asking, "Is it that troublesome? If I had known, I would have acted first to kill Yunmin Yang." Outside the dimension, Zhu Xian was angrily launching consecutive attacks towards the old ancestor. Zhu Xian shouted loudly, "You all hurry up and release our master." The old ancestor scoffed, snorted, and said, "Wait until he comes out, he will just become a corpse. Yunmin Yang, this cultivation space can kill those ordinary supremes." Zhu Xian, angry, swung her spear and shouted, "Old man, shut your mouth." She used the technique Sky Void Spear Decision Flying Fire Flowing Star to strike. Old Ancestor dodged and also used the lethal technique Abyss Palm Shadow Palm Na Di to counter while thinking, "Isn't she Ling Dong? How did her cultivation rise by 2 realms like this?" Soa Tianshan also showed surprise and said, "Zhu Xian, is it possible for you to further improve your cultivation?" "Indeed, it surprises me." Zhu Xian coldly turned her head and asked him, "What Zhu Xian? My name is Wu Xianji now." Soa Tianshan shouted in anger, "Ming old man, don't hold back, teach her a proper lesson for me." Old Ancestor snorted coldly, emitting a terrifying dark power and thought, "Since when did Soa Tianshan have the right to point fingers at me? If it weren't for Grand Elder keeping you around because you still have value, I would have slapped you twice already." Yi Lin Lang directed her sword at Soa Tianshan and shouted, "That woman, where on earth have you taken my husband? If anything happens to him, you and I won't be finished." Looking at the sword in front of him, Soa Tianshan still showed his contempt openly. "You are talking about Wang Yang, right? He has fallen into a deadly calamity that is hard to escape from. No one has ever survived coming out of the dimensional space of Yunmin Yang. I didn't expect the Empress Great Shing to have some beauty as well. If it weren't for the ancestors' orders, I would really want to take you into my harem." Yi Lin Lang could no longer stand what he was saying and charged forward, delivering a strike while shouting, "Go die." He dodged to the side, avoiding Yi Lin Lang's sword and called out, "My lady, don't you feel that your realm is vastly inferior to mine? It seems I have to personally teach you a lesson. Otherwise, with such a strong temperament, you might spoil the ancestors' mood." Yi Lin Lang maintained her attitude and said, "I have to wait for my husband to come out, he will definitely handle your mongrel." She then thought to herself, "Husband, you must be safe and sound." Inside the dimensional world, Yunmin Yang blushed and looked at Wang Yang, saying, "I have always been very curious about one thing, how did you manage to erase the control seal of Zhu Xian?" Wang Yang crossed his arms and casually said, "The seal controlling Wu Xianji. Breaking such a low-level toy doesn't take much effort, just one breath and it's done." Yunmin Yang was taken aback and said, What? How is that possible? I spent a whole 100 years just to turn Zhu Xian into a spiritual statue." Wang Yang did not explain further, only saying, "Believe it or not, it's up to you. After all, you've seen it. Now she is extremely loyal to me." Yunmin Yang chuckled lightly and said, "Since you can easily erase the seal on the child, there may be an opportunity for us to cooperate." Wang Yang was skeptical, raising his sword and saying, "Cooperate? Aren't we enemies? Are you joking?" He thought to himself, what does Yunmin Yang really want? Without delay, Yunmin Yang removed the bandage wrapped around her chest and said, "As long as Wang Yang Gij can resolve this unspoken suffering and help me remove the restriction that Soa Tianshan placed on me, I am willing to give everything." Wang Yang's eyes were fixed on her as he stammered, "This doesn't seem quite right." The blindfold system seemed to disagree and exclaimed, "How could this be? Isn't this too inappropriate for young children?" The tense battle outside between Soa Tianshan and Yi Lin Lang continued. He teased, dodging Yi Lin Lang's sword, saying, "I say, ye great beauty, you might as well surrender, or you'll suffer painful torment." Yi Lin Lang stubbornly continued to slash forward, shouting, "Don't even think about it. Behind the two of them, a space opened up, and Yun Min Yang stepped out, exclaiming, Wang Yang Gij has become too weak, it seems I need to find someone stronger in the future. Upon hearing this, Yi Lin Lang was distracted and anxiously said, Husband, what has that vixen done to my husband? Soa Tian Shen, hearing this, felt even more pleased, that Wang Yang definitely cannot escape this calamity. No one has survived from Yunmin Yang's 2D space. Ju Xin, upon hearing, said blankly, What? Has the master already failed? Yunmin Yang crossed her arms and said seriously, Soa Tian Shen, I have dealt with the major trouble. Now it's time for you to fulfill your promise. Soa Tian Shen shrugged casually and said, Promise? What promise? I don't remember ever promising you anything. Yunmin Yang, furious, clenched her fists and shouted, Soa Tian Shen, you are truly despicable for daring to go back on your word. Soa Tian Shen shamelessly replied, You are just my dog, how do you have the right to set conditions with me? Suddenly, a sword appeared from nowhere and pierced through his body. He turned his head, his face pale as he cursed, You two shameless dog man and woman. Wang Yang scoffed, appearing from behind, and said, Using despicable tricks against a scoundrel like you is indeed very reasonable. He pulled the sword out forcefully and continued, You have repeatedly sent people to disturb my wife. That sword just now was a grace I granted you. Soa Tianshan clutched his chest, still arrogant as he said, All right, Wang Yang, you dare to harm me to this extent. He thought to himself, What skill did he use to approach me so quietly without me noticing? If it weren't for my innate heart of resistance, I would have died long ago. Yi Lin Lang hurriedly flew over and called, Husband, you suddenly disappeared just now and it made me really worried. That woman didn't do anything to you, did she? She asked him and then thought, If my husband is harmed by that woman, I will definitely not let her go. Wang Yang replied to her with a light smile, No, not at all. How could such a trashy space hold my wife's husband? Don't worry, everything is under my control. Recalling the time inside, he looked until his nose bled but still said, This seems a bit too extravagant. The spirit system coughed and said seriously, Host Lord, please maintain some face. Yunmin Yang unveiled a seal on her back and said to Wang Yang, I was originally of royal blood from the Xianyu Empire, but unexpectedly fell victim to a plot by the old ancestor of the Suo family. Not only was I marked with a seal and became a captive under their authority, but everything was also seized by the Suo family. Wang Yang crossed his arms and looked at her, saying, So Suo Tian Shen is a rebel. Quite interesting. But it must be said, if I help you remove the seal, what benefit will I receive? Yunmin Yang arched her body, blushing, and exclaimed, Wang Yang Gij really knows how to calculate. As long as you can remove the control seal on me, everything I have belongs to you. Wang Yang raised his hand and said, Then. I must be a little rude. He snorted and said, Come on, 10,000 dissolving dragon claws. Yunmin Yang blushed and said, Finally, it's all resolved. The spirit system announced, Congratulations Host Lord for helping others remove the seal and obtaining the holy skill, the void concealment technique. Wang Yang crossed his arms and thought, Another new skill, this system is really diligent. He pointed at it, showing that he still wasn't satisfied. I thought it was a body transformation skill, but it turns out it's just the ability to become invisible. The spirit system crossed its arms and said, Not exactly. Host Lord doesn't fully understand. The void concealment technique, when activated, aside from saints, no one can detect your movements, nor can they attack you while you're in an invisible state. Wang Yang heard that and said, It sounds quite interesting. Then let's give that Emperor Xianyu a little bit of a scare. Back to the present, Wang Yang looked over and frowned, asking, Wait, wife, why are your clothes torn? He frowned and guessed the answer. Suo Tian Shen, you dared to lay a hand on my wife. Just wait and see how I will kill you. Suo Tian Shen took out a pill, smugly saying, Wang Yang, you should have chopped off my head just now, what a pity. I will show you the power of the Suo family. He said that and swallowed the pill. He unleashed his spiritual energy, instantly rising from the great emperor peak realm to semi-supreme. As soon as he leveled up, he was self-satisfied and boastful. In heaven and earth, I am the most revered, who dares to contend? Wang Yang was still undeterred, raising his treasured sword forward, and said, "An useless person dares to be arrogant in front of me after taking a pill." Suo Tianshan formed a seal, and a huge hand appeared from behind, ready to combat.